and was only suitable for people aged 18 or over, will almost certainly have an adult theme, and might well contain sex or violence, which are quite graphic. It may also contain explicit language, including sexual swear words. Thanks for listening.
But here's what his revelation comes to him. He's kind of got all this stuff like touching, wiping, mourning of the animals.
Not wiping, whipping.
Yeah. Also not touching.
I am dyslexic. I hope I'm not having like a stroke.
Do it live! Fuck it! Do it live!
And an atheist almost always becomes supporters of eugenics and abortion.
A swine is hungry for nuts. Jesus hates them too.
Satan is real.
Being a Satanist is an open declaration of revolt against counterproductive received wisdom and mindless rogue tradition.
Decapitate her head off.
We're done. You're done.
Obama!
Welcome to the Godless Revolution. I'm Dan Ellis. Guess who's here? Guess who's here? Guess.
Who? Santa Claus, because he's real.
Meg's here.
Meg's here. Whoa,
I thought you were going to say Matt's here.
What the fuck was that voice? What the fuck was that?
Everybody.
Yay! Matt Mitchell's in the hizzy. We've missed you very much.
I missed you guys.
What have you been doing?
He looks very clinical now.
Lots of things. I am clinical.
You look
It's the lab coat. It's the lab coat. That's what it was.
Yeah, I probably should have left that at home. The white lab coat. Yeah, no, I've just been studying. Lots of studying, lots of tests.
Yeah.
Yep, that's almost all done.
And then you're studying for EMT?
For EMT. I'm going to be an EMT.
Yes. Are there different levels of EMT?
There are.
Oh, yeah.
There are different levels. Yeah, so this is my basic, and then I actually signed up for the advanced class for the 24th
of October. Well, so this is just are you gonna, when are you coming? So you're here tonight. Will you be here next week?
Probably next week. Probably the next maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah,
we'll see. Yeah, and then after that, I'm not sure. So the advanced class is only 6 to 8 weeks, where this one was 8 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
But now you gotta learn like medicines and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pharmacology. Yep, and how to put in IVs and all that good stuff.
So right now you're just a basic bitch.
I'm just a bitch. I'm an EMT bitch.
But in what, 3 months you'll be an advanced biatch.
Yes, right. And then
are you going to become a king biatch?
And then paramedic. Yeah.
Paramedic school is a long.
So there's
Paramedic
basic EMT,
huge.
advanced EMT, and then full blown paramedic. Is that how it works?
Full blown AIDS.
There used to be 4 levels.
Oh yeah.
Used to be EMT intermediate, then EMT advanced. Intermediates could just do IVs basically.
There still could be 4 levels if you consider EMR training at all.
Yeah, but that just means I
could do CPR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does the R stand for?
Responder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're not just a technician, you're a responder.
Yeah.
And so you'll be here probably the next 2 weeks. Tonight, next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then gone again.
Possibly. Probably. Definitely.
Well,
possibly, maybe, yeah, definitely. Gonna be gone.
Well, come that other month, November, we're gonna have to go back to doing a Monday recording for 8 weeks.
Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because your work schedule will change.
Well, I'll change to a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday then.
Okay, we can do that.
Cool.
I'll update the calendar on that.
Super. Thanks, man. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. I actually think that my classes will be on Mondays. So there's not even going to be any
yourself.
way to. You're the one with the fucking weird schedule.
Well, you're the one that wants to
Rotating
get
that shit
on the weird schedule.
That's true. That's true.
Well, yeah, when you start as an EMT, you're going to have to be working all kinds of weird hours and shit, right?
Yeah.
Well, most EMTs, most units run 12 hours. Well, do they run 8 or 12s in this state? It probably depends on the unit.
I'm not working as an EMT, so you should tell me.
Well, it depends on the state because there's some states where firefighters are only running like an 8-hour shift.
That's right, because you're federal, so you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like the guys at Dugway, the EMTs and paramedics at Dugway, they work 48-hour shifts.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
So.
So we may be moving shit all around. in the future. You never know.
Matt's just gonna fuck the whole thing up.
Life happens, man.
I did that when you guys brought me on.
No,
wait, we brought Dan on.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Way to go, Dan. Fucking
Sorry.
everything up, letting us have this at your house every week with pizza and beer and building this awesome studio. Way to fuck it up.
I'm sorry, guys. I really apologize. I know I fucked things up beyond repair. Hopefully I can do something to make up for it.
So we haven't recorded in a couple of weeks, and when I was leaving, I was going home from my sister's wedding. And I got one good story from that.
Ooh.
Which it might be, it's good and it's horrible at the same time.
Yeah.
This story made my mother quite upset when she told me about it.
Oh.
So I've mentioned
And your mom is such a nice lady.
She is. And I've mentioned how I have the one aunt who's extremely religious, and that my sister's gay. So my mom found out that my aunt's church was requesting her not to go to the wedding.
Like the whole church?
Like the whole church, like the church said, no, you should not be going to this wedding. Your family should stay out of this.
You shouldn't be supporting your other family members. You should be supporting Christ.
Pretty much. But in all, saying good things about my aunt now, she told the church basically to fuck off.
Oh.
This is my niece. I love her, and I'm going to the wedding.
Interesting.
Wow. And fuck your God. But she didn't go that far.
She didn't go that far. But my uncle, who I've normally not had more than 2 sentence conversations with, I sat there and talked with for about a good hour.
Really? He speaks English as his first language?
He does.
Wow.
He doesn't talk. Well, he's a very quiet guy in general.
Yeah.
Even when talking, he's a very low talker. He just but we had, at the wedding, he was helping us set stuff up, even though it was the opening day of deer hunting. He came to help set stuff up.
I could be out shooting defenseless animals.
Well, actually, that's what he told me. He's like, I told your aunt, no more weddings on opening weekend of archery season. I'm like, oh yeah? I'm like, oh, today's opening day of archery season, isn't it? He's like, yep. So even him being told not to go from the church and being opening day of the archery season, he still went to his niece's gay wedding.
That's good.
Well, good.
It raises an interesting question, though. I mean, so if your aunt, does she believe that her pastor, minister, preacher, whatever, does he speak for God or does he not? I mean, right? So if he's telling her, you don't get to go to this wedding because it's against God, and she says, no, fuck you, I'm going anyway, is she openly and knowingly denying Christ, or is she going to say, well, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and then continue to go to his church for whatever reason?
I think this goes to one of the things where if you never experience something, you'd never know what it's like to be a part of that. So she has a niece who is gay. She knows her. She loves her. She loves that person who's gay. So she understands there's nothing wrong with her. Someone who may be in the congregation that's never had a homosexual person in their family might still be like, oh no, that's dirty. That's icky. That's nasty. Or my aunt may still have some of those beliefs in the back of her head. She still loves my sister. But with the saying, like, if she believes that her preacher is, talking for God, they've been known to change churches because God wasn't saying what they wanted him to say.
Okay, yeah. All right. Interesting.
So
it's also interesting how low we set the bar for Christian people to be decent fucking human beings, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's that.
Oh my God. Rather than calling my sister a whore or spawn of Satan, she actually went to her wedding. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Baby steps. Baby Jesus steps.
Yeah, that's weird to me that we're like, wow, she went. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What? She should have fucking gone. She should have gone to her fucking niece's wedding. It shouldn't have been a goddamn issue.
Well, supposed to take care of your kids.
I fully expected her to be there. It was the whole part about the church, the congregation telling her not to go.
Yeah.
And she did it anyway. She's a rebel.
That fucking rebel bitch.
With a cause.
Satan is leading her astray. You know what it is? Satan's leading her astray, and he's working through your sister to do it.
That's probably what the church was telling her.
Fucking nonsense, man.
Yeah.
But religion is this great uniting force.
Yeah. But it upset my mother that the church would even try to make my aunt and uncle and cousins not go to the wedding.
Of course.
Well, of course. Yeah. Of course it's upsetting. Why wouldn't it be upsetting?
Yeah. I guess I'm not surprised by it.
Yeah.
Well, no, but
where in Wisconsin, religion doesn't really affect a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's not like here where you hear about so many people having issues with it, with being gay and being thrown out of homes and that kind of stuff. It's not a big thing like that back home. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I've become desensitized to hearing stories like that or
Talk to the people in Scott Walker's wake.
Or Mike Pence's wake.
No, but I'm saying because Scott Walker's in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That religion doesn't affect things there.
Well, the big wake of his is defunding
it's mostly
state employees
political,
and,
really, but
and unions. That's not religious based, but it's just fuck you. We don't want to pay you anymore.
It's Republican based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Douchebag based.
That too.
I think I'd be called Harley because I like to ride motorcycles.
Well, you're never fucking going to be president either. Fucking idiot.
And how can he have that big fucking nose and always have it be stuffed? Like he always, he's a mouth breather and there's no air moving through that man's nose at any point in time.
It's all skin that he borrowed from the top of his head where his hair used to be.
It's all decoration.
When your head is perpetually shoved up your ass, it's full of shit.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
When you drag it back out to talk to people, it just rakes all of that shit right up his nostrils.
Yep.
Jesus.
You can't shove your head up your ass with your mouth open.
I suppose.
Tell us how you know.
Oh, I've seen videos of Donald Trump.
Ryan's got a snorkel for that.
Nice. So you went to the wedding. Wedding went well. It sounds like.
Yeah, it was good hanging out with the family, the brother, the nephew. So he didn't like me at first.
The nephew?
Yeah, because I showed up at my brother's house with my brother.
Okay. Go ahead.
At the same, no, it's not because my brother's bald too.
Okay. I realized that as I was saying it, and I was like, no, just let him continue.
I showed up at the house the same time a babysitter normally shows up at, and he's never met me since he could know who I am yet.
What'd you do with the babysitter?
No, so I showed up and he knows another Ryan in the family. So they said, Ryan's showing up. I show up. I don't look like the Ryan he knows.
He's like, everybody in my family's gone crazy. Can't you see this man is not Ryan?
That's a babysitter. So he freaked out because he thought mom and dad were leaving for the night and he had to stay with the babysitter.
Ah.
And then when he found out, no, he's here to play with you. We're going to play games. And then he kept playing monkey on the bed all night while I was trying to read him a bedtime story. He just kept jumping up and down singing monkeys on the bed.
Did you tell him, did you say you ever hear the one about the monkeys falling off the bed and just give him a shove every now and then?
We were trying to keep him from falling off the bed.
So how old is the nephew?
2.
2 years old. That's a fun age.
He was fun.
Toddling
that's
around.
A fun age?
Oh yeah.
Are you fucking crazy?
You know how many dinosaurs we chased down that weekend? We were chasing dinosaurs through the cornfields, around the woods. We were digging for dinosaurs in the driveway. We had some fun.
That's how old Jacoby is.
Yeah, two is where they start actually recognizing other humans exist. Not fathers, but they still start recognizing other humans exist. 3 to 14 is nice.
No, dude. 3. So everybody always talks about the terrible 2s, and that's bullshit. 3 years old is the worst.
Well, you have immature kids. I can't help that. 3. They take forever to grow up. It's not my fault. 3
is the worst, and then like from 13 on. The intervening years are interspersed with sunshine and smiles and giggles, but yeah. 2 and up to 2 years old, it's diaper changes and
they don't even care that you exist.
And discovery, and then learning to talk and learning to walk and identifying things and saying bird and dog and mom and dad, and then they hit 3 years old and it's like, I can say no and fuck you and scream and cry and throw shit and
throw themselves and everything else.
And you as an adult don't know how to handle this situation, so I'm going to take full advantage of this.
Yeah. They're trying to potty train him right now too, because they got another kid on the way. My brother's like, the last thing I want is 2 kids in diapers at the same time.
Oh yeah.
So a few times he ran up to me, he's like, Uncle Ryan, I pooped in the potty. I'm like, good job.
Congratulations, buddy.
I'm not used to having to congratulate people for pooping in the potty.
Except when I'm at work.
But then when he did poop in his diaper, he said, Uncle Ryan, want to change me? I'm like, no.
Go see mom or dad. That's what they're for.
My brother's like, no, he's asking for you to change him. You should change him. I'm like, I'm good.
No, this is why I don't have children, so I don't have to change diapers.
I'll go catch dinosaurs with them, but you get to change the diapers.
Nice. Sounds like he was a cute kid.
Yeah, he's fun.
So you've only got one brother, one sister, right?
Yeah.
So the whole family's together.
Yeah.
Had a very nice wedding. Where did they go on their honeymoon?
I don't know.
Sounds exciting.
I don't know if they got a honeymoon planned.
Oh, okay.
Just yet or anything.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of friends who like waited a year to go on their honeymoon.
And what do you think of your new sister-in-law?
Oh, I like her. She's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like her. She's good.
Yeah. They got a huge chunk of property because they got married at their house, and they live out in the country, and just a huge farm. Like they're showing, like, oh yeah, you see that those stacks way back there? We own everything between here and there, and as far as you can see, looking the other way.
Oh wow!
Like holy shit, that's a big fucking chunk of property you have.
Wow. What do they do for work?
My sister does stuff.
Oh.
I know she was working for like
I hear that's a lucrative career field.
It is. I know she was working in Green Bay doing like a marketing, like doing stuff for like a sign business.
Mm-hmm.
She's got an English major.
Uh-huh.
And
all the way up in Green Bay, eh?
Yeah. Eh?
Oh, wow.
Actually, it's north of Green Bay. It's almost up in the thumb. It is in the thumb. It's halfway up the thumb.
She's going to be a real city slicker, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Up there in Green Bay. Oh,
up there
boy.
at the
big
farm
city.
Field. And well, then my sister's wife, don't you know, she helps birth cattle.
Oh,
From Bobby's world.
yeah.
Yeah. You know, Bobby's mom did kind of sound like this.
For corn's sakes, Ryan.
Oh gosh. She helps birth cattle?
Well, they have a farm there, and they got cattle on the farm. They grow corn and everything, and she helps birth the
cattle grow corn?
Their poop does.
Good.
I think you mean moop.
Their moop.
Awesome.
God damn it, I am not back. I tried to throw a bad pun in there early, and it didn't land.
Getting back into the swing of things.
Gotta get your wing dingers going.
So, yeah, we haven't recorded for a couple weeks. I went on a cruise to the Mexican Riviera with stops in Cabo San Lucas, Mazatlan, and Puerto Vallarta.
Sounds fancy.
It was pretty fancy. It was a lot of fun, man. I did some things with the parachute on a boat. Parasailing.
Yes.
Did some parasailing, and we went on the salsa excursion.
Ooh. Was there extra salsa?
Played at the beach. Yeah, we made
salsa squared.
We made like 7 different kinds of salsa.
And it was been salsa.
It was
salsa,
like
salsa,
it really
salsa,
was.
Salsa,
it really
salsa,
was
salsa.
like salsa, like the condiment.
Yeah,
and dance. I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So it was salsa. So we made like 7 different kinds of salsa, including a dessert salsa that was fucking really, really good. Amazing stuff. And then
was it gummy bears and ice cream?
No, it was apples. What was it? Apples.
You know, the traditional Mexican dish.
Yeah,
gummy bears and ice cream.
I think it was chunks of apple and pineapple and shaved coconut, and then they used this vanilla. It's kind of a citrusy vanilla,
like an extract or something.
Liqueur.
Oh, okay.
That you mix on with all of that. It was so good. Very good stuff.
Good.
And then it's free margaritas the whole time you're there. Like all you can drink margaritas, and you make margaritas, and they bring you different kinds of margaritas.
I'd have been done after an hour.
And then, I got feeling fairly toasty, because I don't think I'd eaten anything that morning. And then we went there and started doing that. And I think within the first half hour or so, I was like, I'm pretty fucking drunk. I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling good. This is awesome. This is the best salsa I've had in my entire life. And so then after that, they let us out on the salsa and salsa excursion was at a private resort.
Okay.
And so they have their own little private beach behind the hotel. That's very nice. We went and hung out there and played in the pool in the water. Did some body surfing. We had, I think it was there. Maybe it wasn't there. Maybe it wasn't until Mazatlan where there was a tropical storm that came through.
Yeah.
And so we had some pretty good sized swells coming around, like 10, 12 foot swells and waves. And
that'd be fun.
I got stripped naked.
Oh,
by the wave.
Oh, I was thinking what kind of security did you go through?
No,
sea lions can be pretty aggressive.
Just out body surfing and caught one of the waves and it flipped me over and rolled me around and stripped my shorts off.
Oh, so the ocean was like, take it off.
Yeah. So
did you get him back?
Oh yeah. Well, I caught him. I mean, they didn't come. They came all the way down, but I caught him with my feet.
Oh, okay.
Spread my legs apart and then, but then I rode this wave in quite a ways, and the water's really shallow where it dumped me out. So I'm like laying down, trying to pull my trunks back on.
You look like an albino sea lion, or what? just floundering out
just
there,
humping the ground,
flipping sand on my back. Everybody's like, "Beached whale, beached whale." Push him back in the water. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like I said, though, we went through a tropical storm. Yeah. So the water was fairly rough in spots, and I got really seasick the first day because I got really fucking trashed when we first got on the boat. And then the next day I couldn't tell if I was really hungover or seasick or a combination of both, but I was pretty much done the next day. Hung out in our room most of the day and tried to not vomit successfully. I must add. So,
congratulations.
So that was good. Then started taking Dramamine and was okay. Would get sick on and off, but I still got my sea legs a little bit. Saturday when we came home and Sunday, I told you guys before the show that walking around the house, I kept leaning against things because it still feels like everything's kind of swaying and rocking the whole time. But yeah, it was a really good time.
It's the same sensation I get when I'm in a car for 2 days.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Where I finally get to my final destination, I stop and I sit on a couch. It's like, wow, my body still feels like it's in motion. And plus that road noise you have for going on for like 2 days, and then it's all of a sudden dead quiet, and you still hear a hum in your head, and it still feels like you're moving a little bit, and
just kind of like that background staticky noise almost.
Yeah, just it's a weird feeling.
I gotcha. I know that feel, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro.
The next rant will start right after this.
Hey everybody, this is X.
And I'm Kyle.
And I'm Felicia. We're the Utah Outcasts.
3 out, unashamed, and active atheists living in Utah.
And we are personally inviting you to let us love your ears each and every week.
As we take the news, current events, and pop culture and give it a little twist.
A love twist, with consent.
And we'll be joined each week by a special guest to tell us what makes them an outcast like us.
Come find us.
The Utah Outcasts.
On podhell.com, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play,
Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
And on UtahOutcast.com.
We finally bought that domain off the kids handing out mixtapes in the mall.
Come be an outcast with us.
Take care of yourselves out there.
Bonne nuit.
And you're welcome.
So the cruise was a whole lot of fun, and then I put together the best of what matters segments,
which turned out very good.
Thank you. It was really weird sitting down here by myself trying to record things and trying to make it not sound entirely canned and lame and boring. I think I did okay.
You did good.
But it took me a long time to edit that shit. I was down here editing and everything until like 12:30 Sunday night. Had everything close to wrapped up. And then I was tired and had to go to bed. And then, finished it all up Monday and released it. But I think it turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
It was weird listening to the older episodes.
With the audio?
Just
us?
It was weird, but also cool to see how much the show has changed and how much better it sounds from when we first started out.
We still say fucked up shit, though.
Oh, well, you do.
Yes. I still say fucked up shit.
And me and Dan say inappropriate things. Correctly. But Ryan always says fucked up shit.
That's my role on this show, is to say the fucked up stuff.
But yeah, I think it went well, and that's all I have to say about that.
Ah.
I have some house cleaning to do if you guys don't mind.
Whoa.
Not at all.
What did I do wrong?
You'll find out.
Oh, boy.
No. He's taking out the notes.
He did say he's listened to all of our shows since he's been gone.
I have caught up, yes.
Yay.
First, I would like to say thanks very much, Jeff and Chris, for stepping in.
And Grant.
And Grant, yes, of course. Actually, there were 2 episodes with Grant that were really interesting.
Yeah, we recorded both of those all on the same night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just sitting down here bullshitting, and I learned a whole lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That I didn't know, mainly about the VA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But But there was some shit fuckery going on while I was gone.
Uh-oh. You looked at me when you said that. I got a glance.
So from the corrections department, about Jeff's Braintree hat. Yes, I do know where that is. But Dan seems to think that Massachusetts wouldn't have such a place, presumably because all the massholes he's seen on TV, or in the case with me, met in person. But Massachusetts does remain the number one in education in this country, which means I learned in 6th grade what people here have to go to BYU for.
By what measure, though? Like, number one in education, is that in spending dollars, time in class, test results? What measurement is this?
Harvard.
MIT.
All right, fine.
Also, Dan.
Yes?
I accept bullshit.
Bullshit? Do you?
As
okay.
a past tense, yes.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay, good. Thank you.
To Mr. Exifer.
Oh, you're looking at me. I'm like, oh, what did I do?
Who started the episode by saying that to fill in for me, he'd just correct you guys every time you misspoke. Then a few minutes later had this to say, quote, "Step yo game up," close quote. And allowed Ryan a free pass on the phrase, "Donald Trump's doctor said he'd be the most fittest president ever."
Well, I was talking.
I think that is what his doctor said, basically.
It's like Chris didn't even try.
Well, no, in there I was trying to talk like Donald Trump's doctor.
Oh, okay. I almost get the feeling he was making fun of me. Not to mention the turning of an NFL story into a William Lane Craig style apologetic attempt trying to nerd-splain why Zack Snyder's shite films really aren't that shite as long as you're thinking about the comic books instead. Hey, it's good to be back.
Is that referring to the Batman movies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any of the DC things that he was throwing his apologetics out for while preempting an NFL story in my stead. Christopher.
Not filling in well enough.
Wouldn't be me if I didn't give you guys a hard time.
No. It's very nice to have you here in studio with us this evening.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
I guess we'll have to cherish these precious moments because they'll be few.
We'll see.
And then another large gap in between. So,
yeah.
So just letting you know, Grant and Chris and X, that I said Grant and Chris and X. Chris and X are the same person.
They are.
Sorry, Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff.
that will be contacting you to come along. Oh, and
Taylor.
Taylor.
Yeah,
will be joining us for
one of the debates, or
one of the debates soon.
Ooh.
I think next week, maybe. I'd have to double check the calendar.
Okay. So we kind of made a decision not to cover the debate this week because it's been like widely covered and it's already been 2 fucking weeks.
Yeah, well, and by the time this is released, it'll be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just to hit some of the highlights of the first presidential debate.
Well, I think the biggest one is that we're all dumb for paying taxes.
We're all dumb for paying taxes. Donald Trump may have a coke habit that we were heretofore unaware of. What else? Hillary Clinton is to blame for everything that's wrong with the world
in the past 30 years. Which my thing, I did the show with the Utah Outcasts, so I cheated on you.
Oh, you rotten bastard!
Well, they knew you were gone, so they called me up. So when he makes that comment, he made it over and over again, saying Hillary is to blame for everything that's happened in the past 30 years because she's been in charge. And they're like, no. So she was first lady. First lady doesn't really have any political sway.
Sure she does. She can withhold the punani.
Well, she tried that and look where it led.
As soon as I said it, I was like, that could go sideways really fast.
But she was only a sitting senator for 4 years?
I don't even... Was it that long? Did she serve a full term?
I thought she served a full term as senator, and then she was Secretary of State.
I can't remember for sure.
Well...
Probably.
So she served a term as senator, which was the only time she was ever in a position to help write laws.
Mm-hmm.
So saying she could have fixed all this stuff in the past 30 years because she had the power to do that is completely fucking incorrect.
You don't even have to go that far. You can't blame any single person for all the problems over the last 1 year.
No.
I mean,
she's been in politics ridiculous. 30 years. Why hasn't she fixed the problems?
Yeah, well,
why hasn't she fixed them? She hasn't fixed them. They're not fixed. They're broken still.
Yeah.
Why hasn't she done it?
Then Trump is to blame for all the problems in business over the last 50 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, you saw my tax returns from 20 years ago. You see that I lost almost $1 billion
in 95.
I was. You gotta feel for me on that. It was $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
It was a hard time.
And people are calling him a fucking genius for that.
Yeah.
You've got Rudy Giuliani and Newt Gingrich calling him a genius because he lost almost $1 billion fucking dollars in one goddamn year.
It's like
that makes him a business genius.
It's like, how can you? I mean, how can you can call it? You can't call that success. I'm word fucking up today. A successful guy. Because it's $1 billion fucking dollars. That's more money than all of us in this room will make combined in our lifetimes.
But if you lose $1 billion one time 1 year, and it gets you off of taxes for the next 18 years, it might be worth it.
But
yeah, especially
for that kind of income.
And if you still have $10 billion,
yeah.
And what kind of losses was he reporting the next 20 years?
Right.
We won't know because he won't release his taxes.
No.
And I have lost any shred of any respect that I ever had for Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah.
That guy is a slimy fucking toad.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing him come out and become a professional apologist for Donald fucking Trump.
Well, the only reason why anyone even liked him in the first place was because he was in charge when 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
But people didn't like him before that.
Yeah.
And we're just now getting back to like, oh yeah, that guy is a fucking asshole. So
I just wonder what kind of business Giuliani's planning to open that Trump's helping him with.
Yeah, I think he wants some kind of cabinet position.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's what he's vying for.
But even now, like most of the Republican Party, like the big names in the Republican Party, are dropping Trump.
Wrong.
Says who?
Wrong. Sorry, I was just recapping the debate again here.
Then you got to say that about 100 more times, interrupting everybody on the show.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, the point in the debate where Hillary Clinton was stating different facts and Donald Trump just kept going wrong.
Did you see the SNL skit about it?
Yes, I fucking
awesome.
I thought that was perfect. Alec Baldwin was awesome in that.
Was he? Was he good?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up. We'll play it.
Have you seen the guy that does Trump on At Midnight?
Yeah, he's really good too.
Yeah, the guy that took over
he's
at
a
midnight.
really, really good impersonator.
His mannerisms are fucking.
Was he the guy
perfect.
that used to do the Trump with the Bernie guy?
Because
there was a Trump Bernie guy that were doing the two comedians that were doing
Bernie
those skits
was
with each
James
other.
Adomian on those, and then I think it was maybe it was the same guy. I think it was different though.
This is the clip from Saturday Night Live. I think it's about 10 minutes.
Yeah, this is our debate recap.
Yes, it was the best debate recap I could find. Yeah. It was the best.
The best. There we go.
And welcome to the first presidential debate. A quick reminder for our audience, there is no cheering, no clapping, and to the Trump supporters, no shirt, no shoes, no service. Now let's bring out the candidates. First, she's been battling pneumonia, and we hope she's feeling better tonight. It's Secretary Hillary Clinton.
And Kate McKinnon is also fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
She's very, very good. So she's walking out on stage with a cane, coughing and limping, walking very slowly. She's about to do a somersault.
Just like Willy Wonka.
I'm better than ever. Let's do this.
And finally, he's the man to blame for the bottom half of all his kids' faces. It's Republican nominee Donald Trump.
Oh, jeez.
And Alec Baldwin has one line in here that I thought was just perfect.
It looks like Popeye.
It made me laugh a lot when I heard it.
Was it the warmer line?
No, it's when he describes when Hillary Clinton speaks, her mouth forms looks like a, and.
Yeah. Okay.
Good evening, America. I am going to be so good tonight. I am going to be so calm and so presidential that all of you watching are going to cream your jeans.
Secretary Clinton, let's begin with you. Why are you a better choice than your opponent to create jobs and put money into the pockets of American workers?
Well, Lester, my opponent's tax plan benefits the top 1% so much. It's not just trickle-down economics. It's, I don't know, I guess if I had to call it something off the top of the old dome with no prep whatsoever, I don't know. I guess I'd call it trumped-up trickle-down economics.
That's very catchy, Secretary. You just came up with that just now.
I did, right off the stiff red cuff.
Yeah, no preparation at all.
I've got a very presidential answer for this. Our jobs are fleeing this country. They're going to Mexico. They're going to China. I will stop that. If Hillary knew how, she would have done it already, period. End of story. I won the debate. I stayed calm, just like I promised, and it is over. Good night, Hofstra.
Donald, there's still 88 minutes left. It's a 90-minute debate.
My microphone is broken. She broke it with Obama. She and Obama stole my microphone. They took it to Kenya. They took my microphone to Kenya and they broke it, and now it's broken.
And here he starts sniffing like Donald Trump. So throughout the debate, Donald Trump kept sniffing.
Yeah.
And then he later denied it like it would...
Well, he said his mic was broken. It's like, broken mics make sniff noises?
Well, and he tried to blame a broken mic on his poor debate performance overall, not just the sniffing. And it's complete and utter fucking bullshit, because the only people that the mic wasn't responding to, and it wasn't even the microphone, it was the sound system in general. The microphone was fine. It still picked up everything. It still recorded everything, still broadcast everything. But in the debate hall itself, people in the audience couldn't hear him very well.
Oh, so he couldn't hear his own voice as loudly as he likes to.
No, and as far as everybody on stage knew, everything was fine. As far as everybody on stage knew, everything was fine. And it reminded me of when, what's the guy who used to be on Daily Show, had his own show, and was recently Larry Wilmore. Larry Wilmore came into town here in Utah a few years ago, and they did a little stage thing, and one of the people that he had on stage with him, her microphone was fucked. Like, we in the audience could hardly hear anything she was saying at all, and they on stage had absolutely no idea, because they can still hear each other just fine. The guys in the recording booth could hear everything just fine. It was transmitting to them fine, but the speakers in the audience,
one of the channels for their PA system was out. Yeah,
wasn't working very well, and so her mic kept cutting in and out, and so everybody in the audience had a hard time hearing it. But everybody in the recording booth, everybody on stage had no fucking idea that was going on. And it's the same thing here.
Yeah.
Donald Trump would have no fucking idea that anything was going on. It wasn't until after the debate, when people came up to him and said, "Hey, we had a hard time hearing you," he's like, oh, whew, you've given me the perfect excuse. Thank you very much.
Or he's saying, whoo, good thing you couldn't hear what I said, because this is a bunch of bullshit.
So you have no idea how crazy I sounded on stage? Perfect. Perfect. This is wonderful. You're an amazing individual. But yeah, so he tries to blame his poor debate performance, not on a lack of preparation, when days later we hear people within his own camp saying how frustrated they were that he didn't do any debate prep at all, and that any debate prep they tried to do with him, he couldn't focus at all. He's like a kid. He's like an ADD little kid. Like, he can't pay attention to anything. He's constantly checking his phone. He's tweeting. He's watching television. Anything but doing what he should be fucking doing, which is preparing for the debate.
And he calls Hillary Clinton out for preparing for the debate like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, she left a campaign trail because she needed rest. No, she was preparing for the debate.
And probably did actually need rest after having pneumonia.
And kicked your ass because of it.
When you hear that, he's picking up somebody sniffing here. I think it's her sniffs. She's been sniffing all night. Testing. Gina. Huge Gina.
Secretary Clinton, what do you think about that?
I think I'm going to be president. I mean, this man is clearly unfit to be commander-in-chief.
Wrong.
He is a bully.
Shut up.
He started the birther movement.
You did.
He says climate change is a hoax invented by China.
It's pronounced China.
He has...
That's another thing, too, while you were out and that we haven't addressed on the show, is Donald Trump recently coming out and saying that President Obama was absolutely born in the United States and is a citizen.
Yeah. And he led the birther movement to get him to admit that he was born in the United States.
Well, and then saying that he did a great job because he's the one who actually got Obama to show us his birth certificate. Okay, but he did that 6 fucking years ago, and you've continued to say that continue to call into question his citizenship until last fucking month.
Yeah.
So for the past 5.5 years, you've still been a giant fucking asshole about this and insisted that he wasn't a U.S. citizen and shouldn't be president. And now all of a sudden it's okay. And then he tries to flip it and say that Hillary Clinton started it all.
Yeah.
And even if she did start it, let's pretend for a moment that she did start it all. What the fuck is his excuse for carrying on with it for this long, even after getting Obama to show his birth certificate?
It's pronounced Gina.
Gina. Huge Gina.
That's where the birth certificate comes from.
The huge Gina?
Yep. It all started there.
That's why it's long form.
Hasn't released his tax returns, which means he's either not that rich,
Wrong.
not that charitable,
Wrong.
or he's never paid taxes in his life.
Warmer.
I love that.
Warmer.
Let's move on to national security. Mr. Trump, you've criticized Secretary Clinton for voting for the Iraq war, but you yourself supported the war.
Wrong. You're being very mean to me tonight, Coltrane. Very mean. I was against the war. Ask anyone in the world named Sean Hannity. I told Sean Hannity, call Sean Hannity.
So, I believe it was 2002, Donald Trump was on the Howard Stern show, and I played a clip on it on a previous episode of The Godless Revolution, where Donald Trump was asked, how do you feel about the Iraq war? Do you think we should go in? And he's like, well, yeah, probably, if I'd say, okay, sure.
Yeah, I'm for it.
Yeah. And now is denying that he's done that. Well, he vacillates back and forth between saying that it never happened and that, I said, okay, maybe it was the first time anybody asked me. I was non-committal, whatever. And then saying that he has had private conversations with Sean Hannity where he was talking about how horrible the Iraq war was. And you should ask Sean Hannity because, of course, Sean Hannity wouldn't lie about it. Nothing recorded, just private conversations. Yeah. But nobody will call and talk to Sean Hannity.
And I think Sean Hannity kind of said, no, I'm not going to discuss this.
Well, and even if he did, everybody knows Sean Hannity is a lying fucking dickbag anyway.
Yeah. You told Sean Hannity on his show, and there's proof.
No, I told him in private. It was just me and Sean, late at night. I leaned over and I whispered in his ear, Sean, I'm against the war in Iraq. And then he whispered in my ear, I'm against the war too. And the next thing I knew, I was kissing Sean Hannity.
Moving right past that. The Iraq war is all about judgment. Secretary Clinton, do you think you have better judgment than Mr. Trump?
Yes. Of course I do. Donald Trump has terrible judgment. He makes bad decisions. He's spent his life cheating middle-class laborers. Laborers like my own human father who made, I guess, drapes or printed drapes or sold drapes or something with drapes, and he was relatable, and I am also relatable.
Mr. Trump, same question. Why is your judgment better than Secretary Clinton?
Because it is. I have the best judgment and the best temperament. She's the one with the bad temperament. She's always screaming. She's constantly lying. Her hair is crazy. Her face is completely orange, except around the eyes where it's white. And when she stops talking, her mouth looks like a tiny little butthole.
That was the line I was talking about. Because Donald Trump does that all the time, where it looks like his mouth is a tiny little butthole.
Yeah, he's the worst.
Secretary Clinton, you have 2 minutes to respond.
Oh, that's okay. He can have my 2.
Okay, Mr. Trump, 2 more minutes.
The thing about the blacks is that they're killing each other. All the blacks live on one street in Chicago, all on one street. I just read that this morning. It's called Hell Street. And they're on Hell Street, and they're all just killing each other, just like I am killing this debate.
Secretary Clinton, did you have a response?
Not a response, more of a request. Can America vote right now?
Well, this has been an illuminating debate, but now it's time for our final...
Alicia Machado.
I'm sorry, what was that? Who is Alicia Machado?
Thank you for bringing that up, Lester. She is a strong, beautiful political prop that I almost forgot to mention tonight, even though we already made a web video about her. Alicia Machado was Miss Universe in 1996.
Where'd you find this?
And Donald Trump called her Miss Piggy.
How do you know this?
And Miss Housekeeping.
That's pretty funny.
Mr. Trump, your response.
Lester, why are we talking about this woman? We should be talking about the important issues like Rosie O'Donnell and how she's a fat loser. And everyone agrees with me, and I just wanted to bring that up in a presidential debate right at the end, my own volition. Good idea. I did it.
Secretary Clinton, why are you crying?
I'm sorry, Lester. This is going so well. It's going exactly how I'd always dreamed.
Okay, and now it's time to move on to the closing statements. Secretary Clinton, you're first.
Listen, America, I get it. You hate me. You hate my voice, and you hate my face. Well, here's a tip. If you never want to see my face again, elect me president, and I swear to God I will lock myself in the Oval Office and not come out for 4 years. But if you don't elect me, I will continue to run for president until the day I die. And I will never die.
Mr. Trump, final remarks.
You know what, Lester? I was going to say something extremely rough to Hillary tonight, but I said to myself, I can't do it. I just can't do it. But if I had said it, it would have been a nuclear bomb. Because in the 90s, our president was a man named Bill Clinton. Not many people know this, but that man is her husband. In 1998, get this, he had an affair. It's true. My investigators are looking into it right now. It was a woman named Monica, very heavy. I don't have her last name yet, but when I get it, I'm going to set my alarm for 3:20 a.m. and go sit on my golden toilet bowl and tweet about it until completion.
Oh, my God. Just to remind everyone at home, this was the presidential debate. Any final words?
Live from New York, it's Saturday night.
Please stand by. The Godless Revolution will continue in a moment.
Here follows a public service announcement for the Two Skeptical Chaps podcast. Greetings, Americans! Over here in London, we are well aware that not all of you are loud, xenophobic, racist, sexist, religious nuts.
But many of your politicians who display these frightful traits seem to be quite popular.
Particularly a certain wall-obsessed, small-handed, best-word-using, daughter-perving, war-inciting, candy-floss-headed clown.
To those of you who choose to follow such balderdash, we strongly recommend not to listen to the Two Skeptical Chaps.
It probably won't be your cup of tea.
Otherwise, give us a listen.
Each episode we cover any news or current affairs from across the globe.
Things that annoy or delight us.
That's two as in the number 2.
And skeptical with a K.
The wrong way to spell it. Cheerio.
This is Matt Dillahunty, and you're listening to The Godless Revolution.
I was actually pretty impressed with Alec Baldwin's ability there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not that he's a bad actor generally, but...
Well, he did.
I just, in my mind, I was trying to picture him doing a Trump, and I'm like, could he do? Yeah, maybe, but...
Alec Baldwin has been a very comedic actor, too.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially in recent years. I mean,
Especially
30
on
Rock.
Thomas the Tank Engine. Oh, yeah, 30 Rock. Yeah.
I was like,
He doesn't have kids. He doesn't know he's on Thomas.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Thomas the Tank Engine. This is a kid's show.
Rolling along.
And he was on it? Oh.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that.
I'm just nodding. Everybody listening at home is going, oh, I can see Dan nodding. This is great. Great radio.
Yes, he was.
Great visual radio.
So
not a comedic show.
And then, of course, after the debate, as hinted at the end of the Saturday Night Live clip there, Donald Trump spent 6 days making the Alicia Machado?
Yeah.
Story the main takeaway from the debate. Because he went on this, because he had treated her so poorly, then the media starts interviewing her about her experiences being Miss Universe. And instead of letting the story just peter away and go the wayside, Donald Trump at 3 a.m. one night starts on this Twitter tirade and loses his fucking mind 5 days after the debate. And then that was the news for another 3 days. So,
yeah, the one interview I saw with her was where she was talking about how patronizing it was to have her sitting on workout equipment, having people photograph her all day long.
So, having people photograph her all day long, that was kind of her job as...
No, but Donald Trump made her go to the gym and work out.
Oh, right.
So that people could take photos of her while she was working out. To show, hey, look at my, it's like prize horse here, all getting ready for the race. And she's like, that wasn't my decision to sit in the gym and jump on a bike and do all this workout stuff with the camera crews there. That was Donald Trump making me do that. And
yeah, I saw another clip of an interview where Donald Trump and Alicia Machado are sitting talking to each other, and he said something shitty to her, and she like instantly shot him down from while she was Miss Universe.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was he mentioned something about her gaining some weight or something, and she's like, no, I didn't. He's like, well, maybe no, I didn't. And he's like, well, okay. Okay.
That was another one of the things that she mentioned in the interview was Donald would keep her to a strict diet and watch everything she did and just basically controlling everything in her life.
God, it makes me sad for Melania.
Oh. Donald's...
for Melania Trump?
Yeah.
Who is Donald's other ex?
You don't think he's doing the same thing to her?
I don't
But she gets the benefit of all his money.
Yeah, you're right. Fuck feminism.
Well,
it seems to be a choice she's made. She was his hairstylist in the 90s.
She wants this life.
She was?
Yeah.
God, why didn't he fire her?
Because it's worked for 20 years.
Yeah. Jesus.
It's the best hairstyle ever.
Best hairstyle ever.
I didn't know they had cotton candy in Serbia.
She spun it herself.
Well, that's why
nice. Rumpelstiltsserb.
Have you seen the...
Did that pun work? Did that... No,
you're warmer.
Okay.
Warmer.
Getting there.
Did you guys see the Playboy
he
videos?
spins wheat into fine gold fibers.
Oh.
Rumpelstiltskin does that. Yeah.
Don't prick your finger on the spindle and needle.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
Have you seen the Playboy videos that have been leaking out
about Donald Trump?
Yes.
What's Playboy?
There's one Playboy video that leaked out where he's being interviewed by people for Playboy, and they ask him a few questions, but one of the last questions they ask him is, "Have you ever dated a Playboy model?" He's like, "I can't answer that." And you can see one of his ex-wives in the background just giving him the fucking look at
giving him the stink eye.
Yeah.
Why do you think this is an important question the viewers would care about?
Well, it's something that really has come up over the last year, and Alicia has done an incredible job. She really has turned out to be one of the great Miss Universes, I will say. And she had a little problem during the middle where she gained a little weight.
I don't think so.
Yeah, she's probably right.
I don't think so.
Okay. And so...
let's talk about that debate, because it's interesting.
Yeah.
She's just like, you better shut your fucking mouth right now. I'll knock your old ass out.
I don't know. I almost kind of took that as like at the end where he's like, okay. Like he's just like, whatever you say.
Whatever. Let's just move on.
Yes, you did, but we'll move on. Yeah. Like he's still being misogynistic about it.
Yeah. But anyway, he's a fucking cockwad. So that was our recap of the presidential debate.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I'm teetering back and forth, Bob, waving my arms in the air.
Sea legs.
Matt's making fun of me. Woo, go!
That could be a hoo-hoo gold moment.
It could be, he was a gold scale.
Yeah.
Balancing back and forth.
Yeah.
Can you picture me in like some old jeans with a shirt and suspenders, and I'm dancing around like this?
Yeah.
Ooh, I found gold.
I'd rather not, but I could.
That's what I picture every time you do that.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Rainbow suspenders?
No, they would just be like leather straps. These are old-timey days.
That's true. That's true.
The hoo-hoo gold suspenders.
Is that before overalls?
Ooh, only one overall thing done. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Little nipples showing.
Like Uncle Jesse from
That's very
Dukes of
revealing,
Hazzard.
right?
Well, if only one side's showing and the other side's like flapped down, it's like...
Oh, no, I got what you said.
Yeah.
It's for breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Right.
Anything with nipples can be milk.
Right. Moving on to the vice presidential debate recap.
Sure.
You didn't watch it.
Nope.
I watched most of it.
Ryan watched most of it. I am convinced that anybody who were to read the transcript of the debate would have absolutely no doubt in their mind that Tim Kaine wiped the stage with Mike Pence.
He was more of an attack dog than I thought he was going to be in that whole thing.
Absolutely, and he knew his shit. I mean, he was prepared. He was on it. There were a few different times where Mike Pence threw something out there or said something, and I was like, God damn it, why didn't you pounce on that and say this, you know? There were instances where Tim Kaine was offering direct quotes from Donald Trump and Mike Pence. You know, saying that they're going to disallow Muslims to immigrate to the country at all, that Mexico sends rapists and drug dealers here.
And quotes from Donald Trump's books.
Yeah, quotes from Donald Trump's books. You know, all of these terrible things that Donald Trump has said, and that, you know, women who get an abortion should be punished.
Yeah.
Shit like that. And Mike Pence pretended to live in an alternate universe where none of that ever happened at all. Just completely denied all of it.
So I like at one point where Mike Pence comes back, he's like, well, that's just not true. He's like, well, it's in his book. Why don't you get his book and go read it?
So he's just like Trump.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and he, like I said, he just kept denying that it ever fucking happened at all. When we have video and audio of all of these things, of the direct quotes that Tim Kaine was perfectly reciting and telling them exactly as they were said.
Yeah. So he's just like David Barton.
Yes.
Yeah, because even though Donald Trump hasn't been in politics, he's been a public figure for a very long time, and everything he's been saying and doing has been kept. So there's a record of it, and you can't get rid of shit on the internet.
Yeah, there's a public record of all of this kind of shit.
I think they think just because they're technologically handicapped, they think everyone else is.
That's right. Pence probably grabbed his BlackBerry and go, I can't, it's not on my Google. Wait, I don't got Google.
Well, and they probably think that all of the people who would vote for them, you know, they're Trump voters and are aware of what Trump does in the same way that they are Christian church attendees and understand what the Bible says.
Yeah.
Or they have never read the Bible. They don't know what the fuck is in it. They trust whoever is telling them what's in the Bible, that's what is true. Mm-hmm. So they're trusting Mike Pence to tell them what Donald Trump has and hasn't said. They don't watch everything. They don't watch the news. They probably aren't even watching the fucking debate.
No.
But at the same time, if Hillary said something very sexist, people would be all over her back.
If it was on Fox News, it's true.
Yeah. Well, that's debatable.
I don't think it is debatable. I think it's not true if it's on Fox.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and Tim Kaine...
But as far as the people who are supporting Trump are concerned, yes.
Yeah.
If it's on Fox, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that last time that all the news networks got rated, like CNN and MSNBC, they're only like at 30 or 40% for accuracy on reports and being truthful. But Fox News was down at like 13.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's, I mean, 30 is bad, but being half as truthful as the other networks is even
talking
worse.
About absolute truth versus embellishments and all.
Yeah.
There was a point in the debate where Tim Kaine said, quote, if you don't know the difference between dictatorship and leadership, then you got to go back to 5th grade civics class. And he was speaking about Donald Trump and Mike Pence, both referring to Vladimir Putin as being a better leader than Barack Obama.
Yeah. Mm.
And Mike Pence turned to him and said, well, I think that's offensive. That's never happened. I think that's fine. And I'm sitting watching it, wondering, and this is one of the moments where I wish Tim Kaine would have turned back and said, how could it be offensive if this isn't something you've actually said? Yeah. I said, if you don't know the difference between these, then you should go back to 5th grade civics class. Mm-hmm. If you do know the difference, it shouldn't fucking offend you at all. If this isn't something that you have said, it shouldn't offend you at all.
That would have been a great response. Or if he would have said, dude, you're running for vice president and you're offended by some little thing that I say on stage here tonight?
And you're offended by
and you're trying to run the country?
And you're offended by a direct quote from your own running mate? It offends everybody else. I'm glad it finally has offended you as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Though any of those would have been a perfect comeback, and he didn't pick that up at all. So there were a few moments like that where I was kind of disappointed, but overall, I think Tim Kaine did a really great job. I think like I said, if you read the transcript, it would be clear that he annihilated Mike Pence.
Mm-hmm. And to be fair to Tim Kaine, really tough circumstances to try to think on your feet in the way. I mean, we're criticizing from, with hindsight and everything. I'm not saying I'm not saying it's a fair criticism. I'm just saying these are things that, would be optimal in my view to say, but
well, and we're not on the debate stage, under the lights, under pressure.
And also Donald Trump is very hard to argue for.
Well,
defend your guy, where Hillary's, at least some of the things that people say negatively about her, you've got very good things to defend her back against with those things. Like, hey, she's been, audited so many times and it's been proven that she didn't do anything wrong. So.
And that was another one of the points that Tim Kaine made repeatedly, was that Mike Pence can't even defend his own running mate's positions on things. He hammered him on saying that women should be punished for abortions, that, the things I've already mentioned, the Mexico is sending their rapists and drug dealers. Then he hit him on, saying that Putin was a greater leader, that other countries should have access to nuclear arms. All of these things, and Mike Pence just kept denying it. And every time Tim Kaine would say, okay, well, this is what your candidate has said, defend this position. Yeah. You can't even defend what your running mate is saying, and Mike Pence never did. And Tim Kaine kept tracking in his head of how many times he did that, and at one point in the debate, he said, okay, at this point, I have asked him 6 separate times to defend specific positions or things that Trump has said, and he has failed to do so 6 times in a row. And I thought that was awesome that he had actually been keeping track of all of this in his head while still trying to address all of the points and everything. As I was saying, though, I think anybody who read the transcript would see that Tim Kaine won the debate, but if you are just watching the debate, Mike Pence has this very smarmy, calming, soothing way of addressing things and putting on this face of real concern and speaking in gentle tones.
It's easy to do when your eyes are half a mile in your head.
But he also has that
half an inch apart.
He has that shitty laugh he does, though.
He would knit his eyebrows and squint his eyes a little bit and shake his head anytime Tim Kaine was speaking, like, that's just not true, and it's unfortunate that you would say that. And he telegraphed what he clearly thinks is his campaign's worst or biggest problem, in that he kept trying to paint the Clinton campaign as being the campaign of insults.
Yeah.
And it's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. You're claiming that the Clinton campaign is the campaign of insults. I haven't heard any clearer indication of real projection of one's own problems onto somebody else than hearing Mike Pence say that to Tim Kaine during the debate.
Yeah, you'd have to go back to the 1860s probably to get a campaign that's more full of insults than Trump's.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then there were news
ad hominems.
Yeah, then there have been news articles all over the place after the debate, laying out that while Mike Pence is saying this on stage, that Hillary Clinton's campaign is the campaign of insults, Donald Trump is tweeting insults about how Tim Kaine looks on stage.
Right.
So just fucking nonsense. But I think Tim Kaine did a great job during the debate. There were times where he kept interrupting.
That was one thing I didn't like. It's like, don't stoop to the level of constant interruption like Donald was doing during the last debate. I didn't like that about it.
Well, and part of that was the way that the debate was styled. It was supposed to be more of a conversation where they would each have 2 minutes to address something, and then they would have a conversation back and forth. But
didn't even seem like they allowed that often. He would start saying something, and he would just jump on him for whatever he's saying. It's like,
yeah, and then he was speaking, and then you could tell he was a little bit nervous because he kept speaking really, really fast, like he needed to get all of his points out there as fast as he possibly could. And I don't know that, well, now that I think about it, I don't know that
time limit.
Yeah, I don't know that that's even necessarily being nervous, other than just being aware of the clock and wanting to make sure you get all of your points out there.
I mean, there's even at one point, I think, where the moderator even said to him, we got to stop and continue because we're running out of time because you two just keep arguing over top each other. She even said, stop. People at home can't understand what you're saying if you keep talking over top each other.
Yeah, well, and even she did that too. You know, it's hard. Like, how do you get the person that you're trying to moderate to just shut the fuck up for a minute so that you can actually moderate what is being said?
I can understand from her point having to jump in like that and be like, hey, you two, stop fighting. I'm going to grab the hose.
Well, yeah, there was one point during the debate where she tried to ask Mike Pence a question and told him, you know, okay, your time is up. And then she started reading the question, and he just kept going and going and going. And she's reading the question over the top of him for a good 5 or 10 seconds. And then they had to go back and redo all of that again anyway.
And I don't know who she was as far as in the media world. I don't know if I've ever seen her on TV before, or is it
Is it Elaine Quijano, I believe?
Yeah, or I don't know if she's...
I know I've heard the name before. I don't know what network she's affiliated with or anything.
That's why I was kind of wondering if she's been if she's newer or if she's just not on main network TV quite a bit, and maybe she was even nervous being on, you know, a prime time show like that too.
Yeah, it's possible. But this was the only vice presidential debate that we will have this election cycle. We have 2 more presidential debates. The next one being...
Wasn't there supposed to be 5?
I think maybe initially they had talked about 5 and then whittled it down to 3.
But still, 5 in... Well, it's a 2-month time frame. That's not too incredibly bad, I guess.
Well, the next debate will be a town hall style debate.
I like those better sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you hear... I mean, they got to talk directly to an actual person who's that has that
in
concern.
The audience who's asking the question, right?
Now, even though we know those questions are vetted by the news agency beforehand.
Well, and they lend themselves to the candidates not being able to interrupt each other while they're speaking because they're answering questions of somebody in the audience.
Now, I wonder if they're going to do it like they did the last one where they each go on stage individually, or if they're both going to be on stage at the same time.
No, as far as I know, they're both going to be on stage at the same time.
So that still leaves Donald Trump with the ability to actually interrupt Hillary if she's saying something he doesn't agree with her saying.
There's a possibility of that. It's less likely, but it'd be...
Well, we all know what...
It would be fun if he did, because...
Yeah, well, we know his level of restraint, so...
I'm going to be so temperamental. It's going to be awesome.
So I wouldn't put it past him to jump in like that.
You're going to be amazed at how temperamental I can be. I have the best temperament.
I have the temperament of a cheetah.
To be an atheist, you have to believe that it is possible, which I think is a far greater leap of faith. That's something that can be created out of nothing. When you look at the majesty and sophistication and the intricacy of the universe that we do know and comprehend, you have to believe that somehow that this energy could have existed on its own, and I do not believe that is... That, to me, is a leap of faith.
You give me the awful impression, I hate to have to say it, of someone who hasn't read any of the arguments against your position ever.
Why do you think America is a Christian nation?
That was the creator of everything.
Judeo-Christian belief to be the foundation of our lives.
And I believe God isn't done with America.
And that's the Lord we know.
You said you brought more stuff, Matt?
Yes.
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 We were just leaning back, reading shit, and we were talking, and I was like,
yeah, go ahead.
Are we boring you? Sorry.
I wasn't being passive aggressive. I was just to have nothing to add, really. I didn't watch it.
True, yeah. You could just get in on how much we hate Donald Trump.
Trump sucks. Trump sucks the worst. Trump's the worst.
He's a big dummy head.
He's a poo-poo face.
It's pretty bad.
Well, what else?
And he's never going to be president.
No. We hope not.
Yeah, I hope not. I think his chances are slipping. They're looking more and more slim, but still. I got in an argument today.
There's still a chance.
I got in an internet argument today with a guy who was attacking another person in a leadership position in the atheist community. And it reminded me of a couple of the posts I've had where people will just come on and, make rants and accusations against me that don't even really necessarily relate to the post I made initially. It's just they have a platform where they can post a comment and be really fucking shitty about stuff.
Yep. And
so I saw this guy attacking this other atheist leader, and I just made a comment about so the other atheist leader had posted an article about climate change and the carbon levels reaching what they've considered kind of a tipping point at 400 parts per million or whatever. And, so I read the article, and then I read this guy's comment, and it was this really shitty thing about, well, you're the one who's supporting the criminal Hillary Clinton, who's owned by all of the oil companies and the fracking industry, and who doesn't give a shit about our environment. And you pledged your undying fealty and loyalty to this criminal who's doing all of these things and is destroying our planet instead of supporting Jill Stein, who's a much better candidate. Why should we even think that you care about the environment in the first place?
Isn't Hillary the only one that has the platform of wanting to increase our infrastructure on renewable energies and jobs and education in that sector?
She has talked. I mean, she's acknowledged that climate change is a real thing. So I read this comment and I'm like, this guy's clearly just being an asshole. And then I go and look at this other guy's timeline. The person who had initially posted the article, and this guy who attacked him on this post, has just almost the entire wall that I could scroll through were just posts where this guy had made repeated posts attacking, it was David Tamayo. Okay. Attacking him on his timeline, making post after post after post on David's timeline, attacking him. And I was like, this guy's clearly unhinged.
Yeah.
So I just made a comment and said, you're accusing David of not caring about the environment, but you're backing a candidate who has no chance of winning at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you are shitting on the only candidate who has a chance of winning, who acknowledges that climate change is real, right, and that has said that they're going to input or implement specific things to try to mitigate those.
It's part of her platform. We hope she initiates it.
Right. That she has some things in her policy plans that she wants to put in place. Sure, they may not be as good as you want, but she's the only candidate who's even acknowledged and is willing to do something about it.
It's better than the other major party candidate who wants to do more oil, more coal, and more fracking.
Yeah, and instead of supporting her, you're continually shitting on her. So the argument could be made that you, by shitting on her, are driving voters away from her, possibly toward Trump or toward not participating at all, which lessens the likelihood that she would become president and increases the likelihood that Donald Trump would become president. So why should we think that you give a fuck about the environment at all? You are the one making a shitty fucking argument. Can you see now how your argument is bullshit? And then he went on this other tirade, and I was like, okay, well, now I see why David has chosen not to engage you, because it's a waste of time.
Yeah, and that's the exact right response. That's what I would have said. I mean, I'm sorry to say, but your candidate is not a viable option.
No.
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, Jill Stein is better in a lot of ways,
but
she's not as hawkish as Hillary and a whole number of other things.
But her anti-science stuff.
Yeah, she's anti-science in some ways, but but the fact is, we're trying to do our goddamnedest to not make Donald fucking Trump the next president of the United States. And by any measurable standard, Hillary Clinton is better than Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So if you prefer Jill, I prefer Bernie.
Yeah.
Guess what? Can't vote for him.
Nope.
He's not an option. So where am I going to go?
You can write him in if
go
you
to Hillary. Oh, okay. Fair enough. But the thing is, I'm not going to, I mean, you and the other 4 people can go vote for Jill Stein. Fine. Fair enough. But the rest of us have to make a calculated decision as to who's going to be best for the future of this world. And that's not Donald Trump. Yeah. So who else is there? Okay. Hillary. So I'm going to vote for fucking Hillary.
Yeah. That's why I like this football analogy. They were all in the playoffs, but only 2 of them are in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and it's not even that, I've been trying to move away from the whole idea of,
it's kind of like if it was Batman versus Superman, guys, you know what I mean? And there's only 2 left, you know what I mean?
Well, I've been trying to move away from the whole idea of voting for the lesser of 2 evils, Because that's always going to be the case. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who they are. You can use that specific terminology. I prefer to vote for the better of the two candidates who have a chance at actually fucking winning.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you think that Donald Trump is the better candidate because you feel
Candidate?
Did I say candidate?
I think you said candidate.
I thought I said candidate.
That's a better fit, actually.
If Donald Trump is the best candidate,
if Donald Trump is the better candidate, and that's what you truly feel, and you side with him, and you think that he represents you, you're a fucking douche.
Yeah,
most likely.
Yeah,
I can't imagine. I mean, I've asked people.
And you have camo somewhere on your 95 Dodge Ram.
I've asked people why they would vote for Donald Trump or any argument for Donald Trump. I made a post about a week ago saying, at this point, my assumption is that if you're a Donald Trump supporter, you're either sexist, xenophobic, misogynist, racist, an idiot, or any combination of the above.
Could be
that is my assumption of anybody who would actually vote for Donald Trump at this point. And then I said, is that assumption wrong? Am I wrong for making that assumption? What other reasons can you give me that are good reasons to vote for Donald Trump? How would he actually improve things for you or anybody you know?
That's why
it's all going to be couched in. I mean, people are just smart enough to know that those are not the answers they can give in society. So they're going to say things like, all the bullshit we've heard. Well, he's the only one that could get things done. He's going to fix the national debt. He's not a real politician, so he's not subject to, being swayed by those. All that kind of bullshit, which is obviously not even true. That's the stuff those are the answers you're going to get.
The only argument that I received in response that I thought was, well, and I didn't get anybody who was like a real rah-rah Trump supporter. He's going to be a great president. The only responses I received that I thought were even worth addressing were comments along the line of, well, I would vote for him only so that he can hasten the Republican Party's demise. So that he can get in office and fuck things up so horribly that the Republicans wouldn't be able to hold power for the next decade or, next century or however fucking long. And I mean, I think that's a pretty short-sighted and selfish view because it's stupid. Because then you're saying, I don't give a fuck about the number of people that they would harm in the meantime, as long as it would ultimately pay off in the Republican Party going away.
And maybe not even for us in our lifetime.
Yeah. And
I mean, that's a bullshit. That's not true. There's no way somebody thinks like that.
I hope not.
There's no way somebody, there's no way somebody.
But they made that argument repeatedly and kept trying to defend it.
I guarantee there's people that think like that.
That's ridiculous.
It is.
And the Republican Party is already on the way out. I mean, they're already killing themselves in their policies and in the candidates they're putting forth to carry the banner for the party itself.
That's not a strategy for anything. Nobody uses that strategy for anything. Think of anything where you're being competitive and you're like, oh, well, I'm just going to go ahead and spot the other team X amount of points because, the fans will probably hate them.
It's a strategy for nuclear war.
That's fucking stupid.
It's a nuclear war strategy.
Nobody really does that. Nobody who's not mentally subnormal does stuff like that.
But my big problem is when we hear Trump supporters, and I say, well, why do you like Trump? And they're like, he speaks to me. He says what he wants.
He's our everyday regular billionaire buddy.
But what does that say about that person? They're saying, oh, no.
Yeah. He's just a normal person like every other billionaire.
I'm glad
it's not about the money. They're racist.
Yes, that's what it's saying. It's like I'm glad someone is up there that is confirming in my racist, sexist, bigoted ways. Yep. And now I can be more sexist, racist, and bigoted because look at him. He's doing it, and it gives me permission to do it now, too. I like that.
Exactly. And they're all the same people who complain about political correctness because that's what puts them in their little box. Where I'm not allowed to speak my mind anymore. No, because you're a fucking asshole. So no, you're not allowed to talk unless you want social repercussions. And so now Trump gets up there and starts spewing all this 1950s bullshit and all these old ass fucking hillbillies get out and they get, oh yeah, he's speaking my mind. Yeah. He's finally saying it. And then they're going to turn around and when you say, well, why do you support Trump? they already know. They're not going to say, oh, it's because I'm a racist, sexist asshole. They're going to be like, he could get shit done.
It's because Trump lets me drag black people behind my truck with chains tied around their ankles.
Jesus.
I guarantee a few have thought that.
Are you voting for Trump this year?
No. I vote to shoot the guy driving the truck with the black guy behind it.
Okay,
then.
I guess if someone has to die, that's the better option.
Well, if that guy's going to kill someone and you can save the guy's life.
Sure.
So I know I posted it out on Facebook on the Atheists of Utah site.
But that you're going to shoot that guy?
No.
Oh.
No, about Trump getting shot. When I was back home, I was hanging out with my grandfather and having some talks with him, and
he's going to shoot him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's where this is going. A person called that was a Trump, caller or whatever you could, like the, what do you call those people that sit and call and try to get people to vote for people?
Canvasser?
Yeah, he's like a person that was canvassing over the phone and called my grandfather. And I could hear he's kind of listening on the phone for about 15 seconds. He goes, "No, I will not vote for that man." And I can hear him listen to him again. He goes, "No, the only vote you got is for us to kill Donald Trump."
Oh, jeez. Nice.
It's like, wow. And then he hung up. I'm like, Grandpa, the FBI doesn't like that kind of stuff.
He doesn't care.
I'm sure he cares.
He doesn't care at all.
What are they going to do?
Yeah.
But I just thought that was funny.
They still can't take my Packers away.
Nope. And it was, I had a very good conversation with my grandfather about politics. He's been around for a long time. He's seen a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he is even like, yeah, that guy's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And he's seen 80 years of crazy shit.
I've seen some crazy shit in my time, and this guy takes the cake.
No
Remember when they
gold?
They used to hang flyers with all kinds of flapdoodle on them.
Oh my gosh.
It seems to me that those people who have their faith, who believe so strongly in God, if they really believe strongly their God, they believe they're right, they believe that they occupy the moral high ground, they should be only too willing to sit down and put this not to the scientific test, but to the political, moral discussion test of talking about why they believe what they believe. Are you up to the task of explaining to the rest of us who don't have your hotline to God why you're right?
You and the godless revolution will be reassimilated in 3, 2, 1.
What else do we have to speak about this evening? You brought more things, yes?
I brought more things. I did bring things.
Oh.
Instead of handing out candy this Halloween, the last living Homo flaccidus, Ken Ham.
Homo flaccidus?
Yeah. Hold on, you'll get it.
Okay. Wait.
Not Homo.
Oh, not Homo erectus.
Not Homo erectus.
Okay.
Ken Ham, with Answers in Genesis, wants you to give trick-or-treaters fake $1 million bills.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Just like the ones the Ark Encounter made this fiscal year.
Yeah, that'll make you really popular in the neighborhood with all the kids.
Sure will. The bills warn children of the fiery hell that Ham believes awaits them. They say this: have you ever lied, stolen, or used God's name in vain? Part of the fake bill with Noah's Ark on the front also says that the penalty for your crimes against God is death and eternal hell, of course. We should ignore for now the pesky bit about God having unconditional love for his children. It just wouldn't be Ken Ham without the presence of dinosaurs, and another bill picturing one contains an equally unintellectual statement. Have you ever lied, stolen, hated, or dishonored your parents? Have you ever looked with lust? God says that's the same as committing adultery in your heart.
We should kill you.
Mm-hmm. If you've ever broken any of these rules, you're doomed. The penalty of sin is death and eternity in hell. Don't try to hide either, because God knows your every thought, word, and deed, and your conscience confirms that you're guilty.
That fucking pervert.
The Manimal Ham asks us again to forget that God is often described as merciful and kind. Along with selling packs of the hell money, Answers in Genesis is also hawking a Halloween Learn and Share kit, which contains both sets of bills, a DVD, and an anti-Halloween lecture, and an anti-Halloween book that appears to be a printed version of an essay from an evangelical Christian organization's website. According to the essay, Halloween has evil intent, considerable paganism, and the glorification of death and demons. The group urges churches to host social functions on October 31st to prevent kids from celebrating. Go instead to a church, which has evil intent, considerable paganism, glorification of death and demons.
And rape.
But also, it lies to your children by telling them their worst nightmares are really true. So that's the difference.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah. What an asshole.
It's like the Christians who hand out fucking chick tracts when you go out.
Yeah. These are his chick tracts, yeah.
That's horseshit.
I saw another one where it had a picture with, everyday Halloween costumes that kids would wear. Like, it covered all the gamuts of them, and it gave little names underneath it and said, if I see a kid come to my house wearing these, I'm going to tell him to go straight to hell, and so should you.
But here's the thing.
What a bunch of fucking fun smashers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the thing is that none of those kids are thinking about Halloween on any of these levels. They're not thinking about like tree worship and animal sacrifice or whatever was going on in the
Are you sure?
In the hippie days of pre-modern Europe. It's just dress up and get candy. It's a fun day. It's just a fun day. It's just who cares?
I thought the origin of All Hallows Eve had a religious origin where it was
pagan.
It was the day that the dead would awake and walk the world. So you should dress up and pretend like a ghoul or whatever, so
to scare them back into the grave.
Not to scare them back, but to blend in with them and not be,
Yeah, but
the kids aren't thinking that.
Yeah, nobody's awoken from the dead for thousands of years, Ryan. It's fine now.
At least two. At least two of the thousands of years.
I keep hearing these stories from Christians where some guy's dead and they say, bah, 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 and they slam him on the head. Now he's alive again. I don't know if they said bah, 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 but that's the first thing that
I think
came
it was
out of my
actually
mouth.
alakazam.
Oh, alakazam.
Those are the Muslim words, you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Fuck me.
I was having Iraq flashbacks.
Hocus pocus.
Yeah, hocus pocus. There we go. It's more Roman. But yeah, so I don't know. Kids aren't thinking about that.
No.
You don't need to tell them they're fucking going to hell on Halloween. It's bullshit.
You shouldn't be telling them.
Why not do it for Christmas too? That has significant pagan roots.
I'm sure he will.
We should go back to the original roots of Christmas. Booze, sex, and do whatever the fuck you want for 12 days.
It sounds like a party.
There's no rules for them 12 days of Sanitarium, or however you pronounce it.
Saturnalia?
Saturnalia, that's what it was.
Sanitarium? for them 12 days of sanitarium.
Leave me be.
Maybe I was thinking that because nowadays people who go out and do that kind of stuff get sent to a sanitarium.
Leave your U-lugs in the sanitarium, please.
I was going Metallica with it.
Okay.
Enter sanitarium?
Sanitarium, leave me be. Anyway. Never mind. Maybe you guys are too young for that.
I mean,
possibly.
I know who they are. I'd listened to some of their music, but not in a long time.
Moving on.
I know the album. I was never...
The album?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had one
album.
big selling album, I think.
No, they had a lot of albums. I know about their bass player being killed when their tour bus flipped over and he died and stuff, and how Metallica was so poor at one point that they were going on tour, had nothing but to eat but bread and peanut butter.
Bread and loaves and fishes?
No fishes, just peanut butter, they said. Because they rejected all the record labels and wouldn't go mainstream with it, so they're trying to support themselves.
It's about the music, man.
Yeah,
that's the way they were.
Yeah, Metallica definitely never went mainstream.
Well, when they were first starting off, they didn't want to take and join a record label because they thought that's selling out to the man type thing. They don't want to sell out. They don't want to join a record label, so they did it on their own. And
it kind of does sound like you know about them.
I do know about them.
Oh, you were just lying to make Dan feel old.
Yeah,
you bastard,
fuckers.
I really don't know, but that's because I know some of their stuff, but that's just because I don't really like music. But
so I have two audio things that we could still cover for the evening. Do you have anything else? Should we do these? Are we sandwiching? Do you have more stuffs?
I have.
Or do you want to do any of the stuff with the leak?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we have the Mormon leaky.
Yeah, if we cover those last, well,
took you so long, and you came up with the Mormon leaky, which were the words he already used.
And it's past my bedtime.
Well, there was quite a bit in it, and everything is quite long.
Yeah,
that's
and
true.
Boring.
Yeah, and boring as fuck.
Well, that's where, like, even with this one that I brought over. We can go through some of the other ones some other time, but I think we should at least go through the last bit of it that kind of goes to show how much the LDS Church is in with government.
Does it ever say where these videos are coming from? Like, who is filming this? Or is
it's filmed? It's an internal
every
thing.
Every time. And
the LDS Church, so the LDS Church was filming these things as an internal thing, so they could show it to other people and other, big stake leaders and stuff, but it was never meant to become public. It was all supposed to be kept private.
Because I've been really addicted to the secret recordings of the temple procedures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
Oh, freak. They are so crazy.
I still need to try to get that guy on the show.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh, my gosh.
He's local, so maybe he can even just come over. So it's better
so
recording.
amazing. Like, if you just sit there and have some drinks and dissect it a little bit with some friends, it's really an interesting evening.
I've only watched little bits of those because I don't know, I guess I haven't really had much interest. I know how fucking crazy the things are.
It's still creepy.
Can I just say though, so I was watching it with a bunch of friends and first thing, right? So we're watching it and Jesus gets his plan. We don't get commanded to follow these rules and go right back to heaven, right?
Jesus gets his plan like he's handed.
We get free will.
Okay.
Free will, right?
Yeah. So his plan is the one that gets implemented.
Right.
Or as the LDS Church says, consciousness. Free conscience.
Well, whatever. So the devil gets cast out because, his plan is so absurd.
Making people happy.
Yeah, just going right to heaven, you jackass.
Using his free will.
Not having suffering and pain.
Yeah. So, literally within the first couple minutes of this taping, they're reenacting how Adam and Eve came here and all that shit. And within the first few minutes, God commands them to have children and multiply and whatever. And it's like, wait a minute.
Y'all start
what if she's an urban woman who doesn't want fucking kids? What the hell? No free will. Right? Right off. Boom.
Oh, right.
Yeah. What if she's just I don't want my vajayjay ripped open?
First fucking thing. Yeah. First thing.
Well, we've all learned in these commandments that women don't matter.
We're kicking Satan out because he was about free will. Now get down there and start making babies. I command you to do this.
What if dude didn't want kids?
Yeah.
He just wanted a good time.
Isn't that no, forced rape by God?
Slip it up the ass. He doesn't want fucking kids.
That's what they do in Provo anyway.
What if he was gay and
they
didn't
just dry dock it or rest? What is it? They just rest in
soaking.
there. Soaking. Yep. There you go.
I think dry docking it's a gay thing.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I lived in Provo. Those people take blankets to the park and lay there under the blankets and think nobody knows anything. Yeah, I know. I watched it all.
We know you're not ordinarily that restless, okay? You're not fooling anyone.
And if you're cold, you put the blanket over your whole body.
Not just your naughty bits.
So if the person you're contemplating voting for believes all that, believes that the Garden of Eden was in Missouri, believes that Native Americans are the lost 10 tribes of Israel, believes that Jesus visited North America, these beliefs are barking mad.
Rejoining the Godless Revolution podcast now.
So this is, you've titled this bit of the video as Last Bit of Bullshit?
Yeah, because it was getting late when I was watching all these videos, all the hours and hours of them, and I was trying to pull stuff out.
I thought you said you were getting laid.
No, I was at work.
Yeah, getting laid, I thought.
No, so I wasn't getting...
That's what I thought you said, so you just hurried it up.
Yeah, I was just getting laid by all the dudes at work.
I'm not judging you.
No judgment here.
That's how he knew to cover up the certain parts when he get cold.
There you go.
No, we got locks on our doors.
Oh, well, there you go. Who needs blankets?
Okay.
All right, so this is titled "Last Bit of Bullshit." You want to set this up? Give us a little bit of background.
So this is a Washington senator. I just forgot his fucking name, but this happened in 2012, and he was there giving a speech to
Senator Smith,
something like that. I think it was a Smith.
It might have been,
yeah. So he's giving a speech to the quorum of the 12 apostles, and this is after he got done doing his speech, and he's sitting down with the quorum of the 12 to talk at the end. And they're basically discussing how important politics is to the Mormon Church.
Let's hear what he has to say about it.
Did you want to make any comments?
I think I've reflected my views in my introduction of the senator, and again, what I just can't stress what it means to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to have which we've had five temple recommend carrying high priest in the United States Senate, and a large number in the House of Representatives. What it means to the transaction of business to have.
Well,
yep.
What it means to the transaction of business for the church.
So
does that surprise you?
No. But the interesting thing is that what possibly could a church and sitting senators have to do with business?
So, well,
I don't know. That's really not clear. I mean, how could a senator really work to benefit a church and its business holdings?
Any connection?
There shouldn't be.
Interesting.
But earlier on
and he's not even trying to hide it.
No.
He's bragging about it. He's saying how fucking wonderful it is.
These are closed-door meetings, though.
Yeah.
But even at the beginning, earlier in the guy's talk, he's talking about how, it wasn't, I can't remember the apostle's name, but one of the apostles called him up and said, hey, we need a meeting in India. So he jumped on a plane, flew to India and went there and to the ambassador and stuff of India and had a conversation with them on how they were going to get missionaries into India where they weren't allowed. And basically at the end of the conversation, the next day as he was getting ready to leave India, the representative in India said, how many visas do you need? We'll allow them to come in now. And he asked for 200 visas for missionaries to come into India, and he got 200 visas.
So he flies there as an official representative of the United States of America.
Right. Yes. That's how he gets the meeting with the ambassador.
That's how he gets the meeting with the ambassador, and he talks several times about...
But the purpose of the trip is to actually do work for the LDS Church.
Yes.
That's fucking horseshit.
I think he'll even at the end of this here, he'll mention that again.
Have access to be able to influence decisions, to reach beyond our shores. And as I said in my introduction, what Senator Smith has done, and I can say the same for our other brethren of both parties, it is of inestimable value to this church.
Our brethren of both parties. The only
beyond our shores.
Yes.
Yeah, well, and the only Democrat that I can think of that is LDS is Harry Reid.
Oh, they mentioned him by name.
Oh, fan-fucking-tastic.
And I hope that in the days and years ahead, that the miracle of these brethren being in Washington will be repeated, and that worthy brothers and sisters of this church in this country and in other lands will rise up and find ways to be in elective office and to be able to help carry the burden, because there is a political and economic component that is vital in how the church operates.
Political and economic part of the church
component that's vital to the church's operations.
So how are they not breaking the 501c3 by having political influence?
Are they a 501c3?
And why? Well, they're a religious organization.
A religious nonprofit is not allowed to have political sway.
I thought the Mormon Church was a corporation, corporate soul.
Both. They have a corporate entity, but they also have the religious side of it. But when they're sending a senator to foreign countries to do religious bidding, to have missionaries come over there, that has nothing to do with the corporate side of the business. Is proselytizing.
Like in this time.
And why
they're losing?
Why would they need any political influence at all? Can't they just pray to their magic sky daddy and have him change the minds of the politicians elsewhere?
That's what he's doing. He's working through men, Dan.
But they shouldn't need to send their own representatives. They can just pray to their fucking imaginary friend in the sky to have him change the minds of the other people.
Or why
they shouldn't need any representatives?
Why doesn't one of the members of the Quorum of the 12 fly over there and talk to political leaders over in foreign countries? Because they don't have that sway.
Well, but they shouldn't, like I said, they shouldn't even need that. If their imaginary friend is really exists and is really on their side, why does he make it so fucking difficult? Why does everything
them, Dan.
But why does everything that happens make it appear that he doesn't fucking exist in the first place?
Yeah, you said it. I mean, he said it himself that it's a miracle that they have people in these positions to help with this. And it's like, why would it be that hard? Why would it take a miraculous event for him to spread the only thing he's concerned with, this God, is spreading the word. But yet it takes miraculous events for him to be able to do it over the span of 150 years.
And it takes the work of ordinary men doing these things. It's not God doing them himself.
And by breaking the laws to do it.
Yeah, there are no actual miracles happening here. It's all fucking things that would happen whether God existed or not.
Well, right. And by having a person in political office that has the pull to go over there and talk to these people.
Right. That's what I mean, that it also requires breaking the law to do it.
Yes.
And some of the critical gating decisions that are made as the church enters other countries, how it exists, what we can do in this country. I think there have been, and Elder Wickman is an eyewitness of this, that there are things that are miraculous that have happened for the church. And I go back to what I used to hear Elder Neil Maxwell say so often, that the Lord is in the details. And we see in the details and in government things happen that otherwise we would never think would happen.
Like what?
Yeah.
What things have happened that you would otherwise think wouldn't happen without God's influence? Someone from your church got elected? Whoop-de-fucking-do.
Yeah. And then
they ran a goddamned campaign. It's not like they were sitting on their ass at home and all of a sudden they were magicked into the office of a fucking senator.
Yeah, or maybe the surprising thing is that a Mormon senator is trying to push a Mormon agenda in politics. Ooh, that's shocking.
Weird, right?
And one guy is an eyewitness.
Yeah, they have one eyewitness. That's true. Yeah.
There's always an eyewitness.
Like in these videos, he talked about how the bishop came to the senator, and told him, "Hey, why don't you run for political office?" And he said, "Well, either you're going to run for political office or you're going to lose your bishopric."
It kills me that they've redefined the word miracle to have absolutely no fucking meaning at all.
Right.
Yeah.
It used to be turning water into wine, and now it's just, hey, this is advantageous.
This went exactly as it would have been as if there were no God involved whatsoever.
Right.
We just need to break a few laws.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing miraculous or fabulous or fantastic or weird or strange or unexplainable about any of this. So clearly it's a miracle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because of intervention that has taken place. And in this regard, Senator Smith has played a vital role, and it's have his
a point of I would like to share with you. This experience that was as dramatic as anything I've had as a bishop or as a missionary in New Zealand. Ralph asked me to see if I could get an appointment with the the Indian ambassador of the United States, Ambassador Sen. I did, and they come immediately to a senator's office.
So he's doing work at the behest of orders from someone in leadership at the LDS Church.
As a senator.
Yeah.
In the guise of a senator.
Yeah, using his official government position to carry out work as commanded by a leader of the LDS Church.
Yeah. I think I misspoke. I think this is where he talked about the visas.
Getting mad.
Ambassador Sen is a very quiet and meek man, a very nice person.
So we took full advantage.
I began the meeting with Ralph's permission, representing the United States in the
Ralph Becker's position.
Who's Ralph Becker?
No, it wouldn't be Ralph Becker.
Or Ralph, the guy sitting next to him, who's his handler for the LDS Church.
Yeah, he's motioning to Ralph sitting next to him.
Yeah, so
he's there on behalf of his handler for the LDS Church.
Right. But as far as the Indians are concerned, he's acting
as a U.S. senator. Because he said they will come and speak to a U.S. senator.
Yeah, they'll come immediately to a U.S. senator's office. Right. Huh. Well, that's fucking shady as fuck.
growing India-U.S. relationship, sharing values like the freedom of conscience, freedom of religious free exercise, was really important to the future between our nations. And then I represented that the church was not being treated fairly in India. And Ambassador Sen said, I know, and I was with Elder Oaks, and I was with President Hinckley, and I promised him I was going to do something. And he said, this is what I think. Just send your Indian converts to India. And I said, well, I don't know how many we have, and that's not a bad idea, but surely we can do better than that. The meeting broke up with him, I think, feeling guilty that he had not delivered on his promise to President Hinckley.
Yay, I've instilled guilt in somebody for some religious promise that they've made.
It's what our church does best.
All right, yay me!
That has nothing to do with any of the responsibilities I actually hold.
No.
As a senator, right.
No. Right.
He said, let me think on this, and he left my office. This was on a Thursday. On a Friday morning, I was putting my bag in my car to go to Dulles Airport to fly to Oregon.
This is the miracle right here.
Ooh.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Did the plane not crash?
No. Well, it did not crash, but that's not part of it.
Oh.
And I heard the phone ring, and Sharon was already in Oregon, and I was no one to answer it. And I got in my car.
There was no one to answer it because my bitch was gone.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. I wasn't sure how I was going to eat until some of the ladies of the ward brought me food.
I didn't know how to answer the thing because the woman wasn't there.
God damn.
And I thought, surely it's the staff. I'll call them on the way to the airport. And as clear as you hear my voice, I heard, answer that phone.
Oh, brother.
I got out and answered.
There's the miracle. God told them to answer that phone.
Does anyone else get the impression that this guy is really, really feeling like he's at a job interview right now?
Trying to sell it?
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to become a part of the general authorities. Yeah.
He believes that these men sitting in front of them are the most important men in the world.
Yeah. More than just the world. Yeah.
I just can't get over how weak and fucking feckless these people have made their own God.
Yeah.
The miracle demonstrated by their God is whispering to this man that he should answer a fucking phone. That's God's miracle, is whispering at this fucktard that he should answer a ringing fucking phone in his house?
Yeah, the miracle
Jesus Christ,
is
man.
Inquisitive.
The miracle is there's a phone in your house and God made it ring.
And you should answer it because that's what you do with a ringing fucking phone. God damn it. It's not like the phone leaped into his hand and it was clearly God's work that he must answer it.
I think the miracle is that this guy still has a fucking landline. Jesus Christ.
It was in India.
Oh.
No,
he was in Washington.
His woman didn't answer it.
No, his woman was in Washington. He was leaving for India.
Oh.
He was leaving India at the time.
Oh, I thought he was leaving to go to India.
No, he's coming. He's in India. And he's leaving to, yeah, he is.
No, because he says he's getting ready to go to Dulles Airport.
Yeah.
That's not in India.
He had the meeting with the guy in India on Thursday. Then he said he's packing his bags into his car the next morning on Friday to leave.
The guy came to his office.
I thought he went to India.
No, the guy came to his office.
I feel
remember,
like
he's
that's
like
to come.
No, remember he's like they'll rush right away to a senator's office. That was the big that was the big thing. Yeah. Then he was leaving to go to Dulles, which is in the United States.
Well,
then his phone rang.
Well, anyways, here's the miracle right now.
Okay.
Answered it. It was Ambassador Sen.
Whoa.
He said, I apologize for calling so early in the morning, but I haven't been able to sleep all night. And I've got an idea. You send to me the visas that you need for your missionaries, and I will issue them over my signature, and we'll establish a pattern of dealing that will get around the India bureaucracy.
Get around the government of India.
And
Why
that whole
did he
bureaucracy.
feel so rushed?
Because he had such a good idea. Because he's being pressured by the U.S. government.
Yeah, there's something he's not telling.
Or he is telling it, but in any case, if you look at it from the side of the Indian, He's being pressured by the U.S. government to push this through.
Or is he leaving part of the story out where he threatened India with something else?
I mean, who knows? But
because he almost says, "Sorry, I called so much." He almost says so much instead of so early.
Yeah, he did almost say that. But I mean, we can assume what we can. But just taking the information he gives us,
there's something missing.
But even if we don't go that far, we just take the information he's given us. What we have is a situation where the Indian ambassador is being pressured by the United States government to push through a religious agenda.
Yes.
And the all-powerful super being who created
those are the facts.
Who created the entire universe with galaxies numbering more than the number of grains of sand covering the face of our planet. His all-powerful thing these days is to make a phone, not even make the phone ring, but tell this asshole that if there's a ringing phone in your house, you should answer it, dipshit.
I'm sensing a through line here for Dan.
They've reduced their god to a fucking fairy, to some vague notion of, hey, this is something in my ordinary life, and how can I apply God to it?
Okay, let me ask you this. In the last few episodes that I've missed, did you drink at all in the studio?
Yes.
Okay, is it me?
Makes him ragey.
Yeah, because you didn't go on any rants at all when I was gone.
I went on one.
These make you ragey.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say.
Is it my energy that...
No, I went on one rant.
Ooh, one rant. Ooh, one rant. Yeah. I'm just wondering. I'm just curious.
No,
maybe you guys didn't hit on anything that was so...
Yeah, well, I don't think and maybe it's just a building up of, and my diplomacy dike is broken, but the whole...
You have to blow your rage load?
All over everybody here. I'm sorry you're victims to this.
Now we're all wet.
We timed that perfectly.
But just...
Yeah, you guys moaned at the same time.
But just how much they have reduced their almighty, supreme, powerful being to whispering to somebody that they should answer a phone, something that they do in their ordinary fucking life all the goddamn time anyway, and that's what a miracle is.
Yeah, I notice how conditional these particular temperaments of their gods are. I mean, and this is a great example, because if you're just talking to them casually and you try to bring up the inconvenient parts of the Bible, they'll talk about love and mercy and kindness and patience and all that bullshit. To try to be like, no, he's not like that. He's like this. And then the same thing with Ken Ham and his Halloween shenanigans, No. He's trying to say, hey, tell all these kids that their nightmares are real and they're actually going to go to hell because that's the real gospel. But then if you try to debate him, he's like, no, God's a nice guy. He's all full of love and patience and all that bullshit. And
he's just misunderstood.
Which is it? Which is it? Can he work miracles or not? Is he nice or is he not?
I just got one other serious question. How fucking loud is the ringer on his phone that he can hear it outside in his car?
Yeah. Yeah, loud. Because his goddamn deaf wife is always in the laundry room with the dryer on. I tell her not to fucking shut the door.
Dinner.
Yeah.
And then he said, how many do you need, Senator? And I said, thinking in my mind, well, we had 200 missionaries in my mission. I said, we need 200. And there was a pause and a gulp, and he said, okay, send me 200.
Feeling proud of himself.
Yeah.
On the way to the airport, I didn't call my staff. I called Elder Hardy, and
Yeah, is pride no longer one of the cardinal sins?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only that, but on his way back, he didn't call so-and-so. He called his LDS guy handler,
LDS, not
Ralph
US,
Hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got the job done.
Not government. He called his fucking church to say, hey, I manipulated this poor guy in this other country. He thought I was working for the government. I totally broke the law in acting as a government official and pushing a religious agenda. Aren't you proud of me?
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to get across right here.
Didn't I do a good job for Jesus?
Yeah, and he's also trying to get a job with the fucking crypt keepers that he's sitting in front of here for the LDS Church.
Look how smarmy and twisted I can be.
the airport, I didn't call my staff. I called Elder Hardy, and I hope you brethren know that Elder Hardy is a lawyer, but I don't know when he ever does any legal work. He works full-time for the...
He never does any legal work because everything he does is fucking illegal these days.
He works full-time for the church.
Yeah, for the church. Yeah, just like what I want to do.
That's great.
God.
On the way to the airport, I didn't call my staff. I called Elder Hardy, and I hope you brethren know that Elder Hardy is a lawyer, but I don't know when he ever does any legal work. He works full-time for the church. And I said, Ralph, if there's any way you can go to the ambassador's home, he's expecting you, codify this as best we can. I believe we have a mission in India now.
Two.
It started from that meeting, and this is the way that you ought to use Mike Crapo, the way you ought to use Harry Reid, the way you ought to use...
Mike Crapo of Idaho, Harry Reid of Nevada.
Wow.
Orrin Hatch and Bob...
Orrin Hatch of Utah.
Yep. Bennett, these are...
Bob Bennett of Utah.
Great men, these are great colleagues.
This is the way you ought to use them.
Yeah.
This is the way you ought to use these elected government officials.
And again, it's how you should use them.
Yeah.
Not how God should guide them in their work, but how you, men, should use them.
Not only that, not just how you men, but how you men should use.
Yeah.
Not guide, coach,
use them as a tool.
Yeah, use them. Here's how you should use them to undermine the government of this country. Republicans.
See how fun this is?
Republicans.
I'm so fucking mad.
And they're all fucking Republicans, not Harry Reid, but all of the men here.
All of them,
Republicans,
every single one of them that he named,
America.
with the exception of Harry Reid, are Republican.
But that's the thing is, all the people that support them are not going to be this ragey. They think this is a good cause.
Yeah, of course they do. That's part of why they're Republicans.
Yeah, he's working
and what's
for
keeping them in.
He's working for my team.
Yeah.
Of course, I want him to do whatever he can to get my team the winning touchdown.
Yep.
Dedicated Latter-day Saints, and it was my privilege to respond. Not often enough. When he would call, he didn't call enough, but when he did, we saw miracles.
He didn't call enough for me to do work on behalf of the United States government for the LDS Church.
Man, he flipped that quick. He realized that he put the blame on himself, and then he immediately went, when he calls, he didn't call enough.
He didn't call enough, but when he does, he sees miracles.
Yeah. He didn't ask me to do your bidding on behalf of the United States government enough.
Fuck every bit of that. Oh
there's
my God.
There's a lot more where that came from too.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I hadn't watched any of it.
Yeah,
I hadn't
any
either.
of them because I'm like, oh God, this is like watching fucking Mormon General Conference bullshit. Which
that's why I titled the last segment "More Bullshit," or at the end of the whatever that I titled it.
Oh my God. Well, now I feel like I have to.
They get addicting.
Yeah.
You should see how often they bring up. There's one with the guy.
Anytime my rage gauge starts to dip, I should watch one of these.
I gotta grab the clip with about people leaking information because they're like, is this a threat to our church? People leaking information about us.
If people learn the truth about us, is that going to be a bad thing?
And then there is the U.S. soldier who is transgender. So they're like, well, people know he's gay, right? Like, that's known, right? Like, that's in the media that they're gay, right?
Bradley, right?
I like how all these old white men have to, like, reassure each other on topics they have no fucking idea about. Like, nothing. They know nothing, and they just stay in this bubble.
No, that's not how it was going. They were saying, if the public knows the person's gay, why are they listening to him then?
Listening to him?
Because they were part of the, leaking information and stuff. And
Bradley Manning.
So their
Manning.
credibility goes out the window.
Yeah, they're saying, well, why do people trust this person if they're gay?
It's not Bradley anymore.
Well, yeah, but at the time.
Yeah. And they still referred, instead of a her, they still referred to as him the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Because they're that way.
It's Chelsea Manning.
Chelsea Manning,
yeah,
yes.
Chelsea, but she was a whistleblower.
I couldn't think of the name.
And I think they also bring up Snowden at one point, and one of the apostles says, is he gay?
How can we discredit him and make it so that our people don't listen to anything they say?
Pretty much.
Quick, tell me that they're gay.
Yeah.
A sentence or two from David Hume would correct what you said. A miracle is defined not as a part of the natural order, but as a suspension of the natural order.
No, an intervention.
You can't say of the Big Bang, which is the foundation of the natural order, that it's a suspension of what it starts. You may not do that.
I'll try my 10 seconds of humility. It'll be the only time tonight. There's a lot we don't know about the universe, a lot more we don't know than we do. That's the wonder of science. That's why I'm a scientist. But it is intellectually lazy to just stop asking questions and stop looking for physical explanations and just say God did it.
The other nice bit with this senator, which we can play later on, maybe I won't even talk about it, so you can be ragey if you play it in the next episode.
Yeah.
Need some blood pressure medication?
Yeah.
What do you have, EMT Matt?
I can't do any meds.
Oh, Ryan?
What? I'm just an EMT as well.
Oh, damn.
I can give
You're
some
screwed,
meds.
Dan.
Damn it.
Yeah,
I can push.
I'll have to rely on my trusty old friend, alcohol.
If you need Advil or charcoal.
I can push D50, nitro. That's about it.
Nitro. He doesn't need nitro.
No, but it'd be fun.
Would that accelerate this process?
Yes.
Do it!
But we don't want his heart to pop.
No.
That's true.
Make Dan explode while we're recording.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Oh, man,
Plus, you can't give nitro if people have taken a erectile dysfunction medication in the last 24 hours. So.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna need to reflect on exactly why this bothers me so much, because it shouldn't bother me. Like,
ED is tough for everybody.
They can they can believe in whatever fucking nonsense they want, right? That there's some invisible sky bully directing things and making phones ring and whispering that they should answer them and all this other fucking nonsense, right? They can believe whatever the fuck they want there.
I think it's a knowingly taking part in illegal activities.
Yeah.
But I think it's
being proud of it.
I think it's the promotion of this idea that there is this invisible being that is so powerful, it created everything, and it controls everything, and it influences everything for everybody at all times. And the miracles that they bear witness to as part of this being's super existence is them doing mundane things like answering a fucking ringing telephone.
Yeah. Even at the beginning of his speech, when he's talking about working for the LDS Church as a senator, he even talks about how his
I was watching your lip quiver, sorry, while Ryan was talking.
Well, he talked about his belief in the church and how he knows the church is true and everything, and how that supersedes government.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But that's the exact reason why someone like Ted Cruz would have been a horrible person, because these people, they're religious. Yes, for us.
Yeah.
And for a lot of other religions, though, too, because their religious belief supersedes everyone else's other religious belief and government.
But a lot of Mormons were for Ted Cruz.
Yeah, but here's part of the big problem with all of that, though. I mean, we've all hit on different angles of it, but this whole idea that might makes right, that it's that the ends justify the means.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That it's God above everything.
Mm-hmm.
I've taken this oath. But who cares? I have this other oath that supersedes everything I do. And I'm willing to sacrifice all of this earth and my earthly existence for the greater good of storing away treasures in heaven, right? What about the rest of the people on earth you're fucking over while you're doing that? They don't care anything about that, because in the end it'll all be made right. So the end justifies the means. And even if you don't see it now, it'll still be better for you. When you do realize it, you'll thank me. It's this kind of attitude that makes them continue on that path. And that's
why live and let live is so dangerous.
There's absolutely nothing you can do to change them from that viewpoint, because ultimately, when eternity comes,
that's bigger than
you will thank me. Mm-hmm. Well, you'll see everything then, Dan.
At one point during their talks, one of the Quorum of the 12 asked him, what are the most dangerous things you see facing us? And part of it was secularism.
Oh, of course. Sure, that's the big enemy.
And not
getting religion out of government. We can't have that.
No,
well, not only was it a danger to America, it was a danger to the church, because he even references saying that
obviously,
the more secularized a place is, the harder it is for the church to operate in that area, so we need to get rid of it.
That's why they're focusing on Latin America and Africa.
Right.
Because that's where the growth is.
But they got to realize that this is a secular country.
They don't realize
They don't realize, but that's what they have to realize.
Why do they have to?
Because anybody that's in a political position has to realize it's a secular.
They don't want to broaden their horizons.
No, they don't. I know, you guys are all correct. They don't broaden their horizons, but as being a part of the political process, you have to think on a secular level.
You should.
No, you should. But I don't think it's a should. I think it's you have to.
It's not.
No.
But you can't, the way I'm getting at this, you can't take and say, well, my religion is more important. You got to take it on
you can.
a secular, but you should. You can. Yes, you can.
Just kick him under the table.
No. Hold on.
You can, and they do that.
Yes, they do.
But as a sitting senator is something you should not and you cannot do underneath the law.
Correct.
That's where I'm getting at. The cannot, because lawfully you cannot take and say, well, since my church supersedes your church, I'm going to make a law that makes my church more relevant than your church. That's why I said the can't.
Right.
So someone getting in there with a leaning towards a certain religion or a certain church is going to try to make laws more advantageous towards their church. It's like the one I think
you're
it was
not
in South Carolina.
To do it.
Yeah, legally you're not supposed to. It doesn't mean you can.
Well, it's like the one in, I think it was either in South Carolina or North. It's in one of the Carolinas where the state made it so that parochial schools could get federal or state funding. And when they found out that not only Christian schools would get it, but Jewish schools, Muslim schools, any schools would get it, they said, oh, no more.
Yeah,
we got to get rid of this bill because they realized, oh shit, we have to give them the same rights. That's where it comes in with shit like that.
Which is a big part of like Lucian's whole.
Right.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. And so I just want to say real quick, everyone in the studio and Chris Reed, that was not me trying to push Ryan because he was, quote, misspeaking, you asshole. I was honestly trying to get at what his point was, because there was
I was trying to get there, but you kept fucking yelling at me.
Well, I'm not yelling at you.
I'm not yelling at you, goddammit.
Not fucking yelling at you.
I was trying to drive home the importance of separation of church and state.
I know, but I was just honestly trying to get exactly what your point was. And once you got to the words, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I get it now. But when you were saying that other stuff, like they can't do this, I'm like, they are doing it.
Yeah,
so, they can.
But are doing it and
shouldn't
or legally can't do this. Maybe I should have said legally or constitutionally they can't do this. They're not allowed to do this constitutionally.
Right, not allowed to, or
maybe I should have said
legally,
allowed it.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to do that. Well, frowned upon, they do a lot of shit that's fucking frowned upon.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's subjective anyway.
But even things that are frowned upon, are subjective. They might be well within the law, legal limits, but it's very frowned upon about what they're doing. Like Donald Trump and his taxes. That's very frowned upon on how he fucking does it, but legally he's fucking getting away with it.
Donald Trump and his everything is frowned upon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that brings me to one of the points that I wanted to make during when we were talking about the vice presidential debate.
Mm-hmm.
There was a moment during the debate where the moderator asked both candidates if there was a point in time where their religious beliefs came in conflict with what they had to do as part of being a representative of a larger populace.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think you mean Candidicks.
Cans of dicks.
Yep.
Cans of dicks.
That's going to be a meme now. Someone's going to make a can with dicks sticking out of it.
Awesome.
And I thought it was very telling of the views of each candidate in their responses, because Tim Kaine's response was, and I quote, "I think it is really, really important that those of us who have deep faith lives don't feel like we can just substitute our own views for everybody else in society regardless of their views." And he went on to say that, he in his religious faith believes in, he's not a big advocate of being pro-choice. He has a real problem with that. He struggles, but he knows that it's law. It's what is written into law and codified, and it's not his position as a religious person to tell everybody else what they can do with their own bodies. And Mike Pence, and I posted this on Facebook, but just in paraphrasing what Mike Pence said, he took the exact opposite stance and said that as a Christian, he needed to work to make sure that we were following God's laws and biblical law and we're in line with God's teachings. So my paraphrasing of what Mike Pence said was just, in response to what Tim Kaine said was, fuck that. My religion teaches that women shouldn't have control over their own bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tim Kaine came back at him and said, women should make their own decisions about pregnancy. We trust American women to do that.
Yeah.
And then later he said, why don't you trust American women to do that? So I thought those were both very telling moments about the views of either candidate and how they would govern.
Well, we've already known that Mike Pence has legislated to try to get true science taken out of education and put creation science in place of it.
Oh, he's done all kinds of jiggery-pokery fuckery stuff.
He's been doing a jig, and he's been poking, and he's been jiggering and poking in, and there's a pig squealing in the corner. I don't know what they have to do with each other, but
yeah, well, that's okay. You don't have to worry about him. He's over in the pig pens.
That was a good one.
Thank you,
Matt.
Thank you.
Now
I'm
you're
back.
Matt is back.
We just peeked the shit out of that.
That's okay. I'll cut the levels and reduce it all and limit things and yeah.
At least our whole show isn't peaky anymore.
No, that's good. I have one last thing.
Okay.
It's Ann Coulter.
Oh, God.
Fuck her.
You just want to have a mad show.
I don't want to fuck her. Just
the Coulter guy. He'd be like fucking a skeleton anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ann Coulter blames the Never Trump movement on atheism.
Star of Nightmare Before Christmas, right? Ann Coulter.
Yes, Ann Coulterington.
Excellent. Well done.
Anyway, she was on the.
I don't know what that face was Ryan gave you, but it was hilarious.
I don't think me and Ryan know what the hell is even happening on that side of the table.
They're trying to turn Ann Coulter's name into a skeleton somehow.
Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, he's just like super tall and thin, so I was like, she started.
Well, they got the
Nightmare
Coultergeist or whatever you said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I've never seen Jack. What? We were just talking about this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when I slept on your cardboard rug.
Is that Tim Burton?
Yes.
Was that okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it's a movie that's very near and dear to my heart.
I haven't seen that one in quite a while.
Oh yeah?
I don't think it's probably on every Halloween, but I usually watch like Halloween or Freddy.
One of the classic Tim Burton films.
Anyway, back to the Corpse Bride.
And Coulter joined conservative radio host Eric Metaxas, a fellow Donald Trump fan, on his radio program yesterday, where the two criticized Never Trump conservatives such as Thomas Sowell, Eric Erickson, George Will, and Charles Murray, and warned that America will collapse if Trump doesn't win the upcoming election.
Why do people do that? When your name's Erickson and you name your kid Eric and spelled the same?
That's all I could focus on, too. Was that bad?
Eric Erickson.
And it's even spelled the same with a CK at the end.
Yeah, like Will
Like, how
Williamson
uninventive
and
is
John
that?
Johnson and Richard Richardson's. It's amazing how many there are.
I know, it is.
Why? Why
Peter
are you doing
Peterson.
that?
We're going to be so funny and original.
It's because they didn't know they're having a kid.
I could have named Brandon Mitchell.
It's going to
Right.
be
Mitchell
It's going to
Mitchell.
be awesome.
Mitch Mitchell.
Mitch Mitchell.
It's stupid.
I find it funnier when it's someone named Sergeant and they're a sergeant in the military.
Yeah.
Sergeant.
Sergeant. I think I told you guys once that I have a friend who, excuse me, their last name is Error, and they were trying to think of all kinds of fun names to name their kid.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
Justin Error. And
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
We're thinking of days when he would be in the military and could be perhaps Major Error.
Yeah.
Private error.
Private Error. Airman Error.
Yeah. Seaman error.
That's a good one. I was just thinking that same thing in my head. Seaman error could have so many connotations.
Yeah.
To that.
I mean, because he would take that personally his whole life.
I mean, Monica
It's like,
Lewinsky.
was I really an accident?
Well, Monica Lewinsky had a semen error.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
So did Bill Cosby.
Oh.
On her dress?
I just got that. Yeah. Never mind.
She didn't spit far enough.
So I'm trying to find
Was it her falling short? Or
Well, I thought
him?
she was underneath.
Maybe.
Maybe she. I don't know. She let him.
Yeah, let's
in the
overanalyze
mouth.
this.
Or maybe she pulled it out at the end and it just dribbled down on her. I don't know.
For the listener, Ryan is doing Trump hands.
Yeah, he is motioning lots of things.
Mostly like towards my mouth in a
Yes,
circular fashion, like
mostly.
I'm eating a hot dog.
Why wouldn't you do that?
I know. I don't know why they think it's weird.
Because you're looking in my eyes, I think.
Yeah, you're constant eye contact is the weird part.
Yeah.
I tend to look at person's eyes when I
When
talk
you're
to them.
motioning like you're...
Now that was smoking a joint.
I don't want to do what you did.
I don't.
Social error.
My brother is right across the table.
Yeah, and I don't know that she has sex.
Right.
Not like you've never seen her do that before.
What?
Whoa.
Seen her?
What?
Yeah, make hand gestures.
What is happening?
I'm having fun.
Social error. That's what's happening.
Social. There you go.
Oh, jeez. Let's get back to let's see what Ann
All right.
Coulter actually said, shall we?
Man Coulter,
Yes.
guys. Here we go.
I think that the intellectuals are, I know that most of the intellectuals are, they're simply embarrassed.
Yeah, those damned intellectuals.
What?
Damn
What
you
does
for
that
being
Dare they
smart
know
and going to
stuff.
school and reading books. Fuck you.
Oh, that's terrible.
So all the people who know stuff and vote against us, we hate them, right?
Uh-huh. Of course we do.
The less you know.
Yeah, the more Republican you are, yeah.
Dun, dun, dun,
Well, with that rainbow, right?
Yeah, the star in the rainbow, yeah.
They're embarrassed because they have always been insecure in a way, holding their conservative positions in a world that mocks them and treats them as though they're already Neanderthals. And so to be allied with the closest thing we have to an actual Neanderthal in terms of his garish tastes and some of the things that he says is very, very, it's very embarrassing. And I've noticed that people like George Will is probably a perfect example, that it must be unbearable for him to I mean, I think George Bush probably pushed him within a millimeter of the cliff. Now Trump, he's somewhere a mile past the cliff. There's just no way he can handle having to ally himself with somebody he thinks of as hopelessly vulgar, who's never heard of horn rims, much less would wear them. So it's very tough. I think.
Very good.
Are they saying that we truly, really want to suck Trump's dick, so that's why we're being mean to him?
Well, no, it sounds like he's saying that the intellectual Republicans are repulsed by Bush and Trump because they're such big fucking dummies. So they don't want to align with him because people already look at these smart Republicans as being weird because most Republicans are fucking stupid. That's what I find shocking about this whole thing. You weren't here for the light going out last week.
It did it
So
again.
it totally threw me off because when he said intellectuals, I immediately thought liberals because that's what it is.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was going for an oxymoronic statement, and yet another one of their invisible friends in the intelligent Republican.
Which is, I understand why you guys were confused, and I was at first too, because he's talking about what even I would consider to be intellectual Republicans, which is oxymoronic in a way anyway, but he's referring to them and saying that they must feel so out of place because the view of most people is that Republicans are fucktards.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, they are.
And so people are already making fun of these people as being eggheads because they're smart and look at them doing smart things.
Yeah,
and so they're already being ostracized and looked at as weird. And so they don't want to associate with, the baser elements of the Republican Party like George Bush or Donald Trump. So they disassociate from them because they already feel so weird anyway.
Yeah, because being called smart is such an insult.
Yeah. They're brain shaming.
Yeah.
Good point. I'm embarrassed that it hadn't occurred to me, but one striking thing about Charles Murray and George Will anyway, and like I say, heretofore was a huge fan of Charles Murray's, despite this, is that they are both atheists.
George Will is an atheist.
And
apparently Charles Murray is an atheist as well.
Okay.
So they're intelligent Republicans who are also atheists.
So that's two strikes right there.
That's double bad.
Then they go for a third strike by not liking Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's also double intelligence.
What kind of...
Because if they're already intellectual Republicans and atheists, then statistically they're going to score higher.
If they're not voting Trump, does that mean they're voting Hillary or just not voting?
If they're already voting Trump.
No, if they're not voting Trump. Because they despise him.
I'm not sure. I can't remember. I know I've heard George Will state what he was going to do, but I think it was non-committal either way. It was just, I don't know. I'll have to see.
I mean, if they're standard Republicans, they should have no problem voting for Hillary. Man, that took you a minute. I've been saying that for months.
Well, yeah, we have. We've all been saying Hillary's the best Republican in the race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She still is, by the way.
But I don't know how to handle this line of talk that Ann Coulter and Metaxas are participating in, because
it's easy. Just phone ringing is not a miracle. Okay, move on.
I've got it all figured out. I've got 3 beer bottles sitting here. We each take one.
Is it for the Holy Ghost and Jesus and God?
Yes.
Is this the Trinity of beers?
We each take one, we raise it in the air, and we bash it into our fucking heads.
Mm-hmm. Are you gonna explain to me how these beers are all separate but the same?
Yeah. Well, by bashing them into our heads, we'll all understand.
I'm glad there's 3 all of a sudden.
Yeah. Well, I could have. I could have.
Meg's like, there are 4 people at the table. You
I know.
sexist. Fuck you.
And the thing is
And the light comes on.
And the thing is
You got it.
Is nobody's here, so I could have told a lie. But I decided not to lie.
Now she's
and say
nobody? You
Wait, what?
asshole.
No, I decided not to lie about having a 4th beer for some reason when I could have, because they can't see the fact that there's not a 4th
But
beer
then
on the
that's
table.
not a trinity.
It's true, it isn't then. No, you're the Virgin Mary.
Oh, fuck. I'm a lying slut.
Well, and you're going to get raped by God.
God damn it.
Wait, so I never did see her have sex?
No,
Oh, okay.
not yet. You can watch God rape her.
Perfect.
Wait, that comes later, I guess.
You're also fucking twisted.
God rape
You
comes.
choose this.
A God rape comes whenever God wants to come.
Yes.
But is there a semen error?
A semen error? There might have been a
I think
semen
it's called Jesus.
Wait.
Yes, Jesus
True.
is a semen error.
If you've had many God rapes and nothing happened, then there was a semen error because it didn't work.
That's what's happening.
Or he pulled out and wanted to do it again.
Well, he would have the most powerful semen.
Mm-hmm. True.
Oh, God. God Trump.
Oh, my gosh.
It's the best semen. You're going to like it.
I mean, honestly,
you're going to like it the most.
You would have known
It's gonna
because
be
it would have been
amazing.
like a shotgun blast up
I
in
love
there.
how
I'm gonna get
guys
you more
make it
pregnant
seem
than
like
anybody's
that's
ever gotten you
amazing.
pregnant.
Like, make it taste like cotton candy then. Like, what the hell?
You tell
Make it
us
taste
how
like
to.
pancake batter and be like, it's fucking amazing.
It's supposed to remind you of your morning chores.
God damn it.
You taste it, then you make breakfast. It's pretty simple.
You don't fucking forget.
This is why I said we need to get more female voices on the show every sometimes.
Do you say that?
Yeah.
Every sometimes.
Every sometimes.
I feel
Every
like I
sometimes.
come here a lot.
But you never talk. This is the most you've talked on the
This
show.
is the most you've ever talked on the show.
You gotta be.
Well,
I'm
get
not
God
lying.
rape in the fucking conversation
Well, she
and
took-
brother watching. I mean, it fucking works. I
apart
guess.
from the off-air stuff where we had you do the drops and everything, this is definitely the most that you've spoken on.
She
the show.
talks
It is.
every sometimes.
Yeah.
Every
Every
sometimes.
sometimes.
Which isn't a lot of times.
It's just every sometimes.
Just a sometimes.
But it's every sometimes.
Every sometimes, yeah. Because if you didn't do it every sometimes, it'd be every so often times.
There's never been a sometimes that she hasn't done
You know,
it.
Yeah.
it makes me not want to ever maybe go to Wisconsin. This would be the
Okay,
most confusing thing
wait.
ever.
You can go now. Jeffrey Dahmer and Ed Gein are gone.
I have permission.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
You sexist fuck.
I know, you were just...
Well, if there's anything to be afraid of in Wisconsin, it was Ed Gein and Jeffrey Dahmer.
I thought it was the conversation, but this led me to a whole nother plane.
She's worried about not being able to understand anybody if they
Yeah.
talk like
Oh,
that.
don't
Every
worry.
sometimes.
If you can't understand me, you won't understand shit in
That's
Wisconsin.
what I'm saying.
But you can still go.
Thanks.
You can.
Thank you.
I will allow it this one time.
Now we're back.
Every sometimes.
Now we're back to his can, should, are allowed. Jesus.
Wait, who was criticizing
Bylaw.
you? Who did you say?
Chris Reed.
Oh, so I'm fucked. Don't
By
judge me,
Jesus.
X.
By
I
Jesus.
know you don't know me. Don't judge me.
No, he
Not
was
by Jesus.
He wasn't
for
criticizing.
Jesus
yeah.
to come later.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You're only being fucked for Jesus to come.
He wasn't criticizing
Later.
the way I speak. He was criticizing me for making fun of them when they misspeak.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Don't judge me.
But then he went on to not ever do it.
Yeah,
the whole
but
time
I'm-
he was here.
but
So I
I'm
think
the-
he was making fun of me.
I'm the best misspeaker.
Yes,
That's
you
true,
are.
you are.
You are number one at that.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing.
I got a drawing on the fridge saying best misspeaker.
Did you make it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
I think it should be best Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, I was thinking you should wear a sash or something.
I'll get it.
Best Miss Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
There she is.
No, it's gonna be spelled like missed, like you missed something.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Or missed. No, we could do missed, like M-I-S-T.
You were giving me that look.
Wait, that's like
You're giving me that
Sierra
look like you
Mist.
should be
Yeah.
eating a
Like-
banana.
Work.
Yeah.
I don't even understand what's happening.
You're
Okay.
not supposed to. I don't either.
A mist speaker.
So you're deliberately being... Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
lost.
I'm deliberately
Yes.
saying fucked up shit now because
Instead of
cutting this
instead of miss speaking, speaking,
Because-
I had a stroke.
because it'd be like missed, but
Instead
spelled
of-
M-I-S-T.
Instead of sexist, miss,
Yeah, missed.
you're being
Like I missed my period. but spelled MIST.
That's still the wrong spelling.
It is. It's supposed to be a wrong spelling. That's the
but
point.
You're using the examples of like the worst things. Like
if you missed your period, MIST, you got problems.
I know. It's supposed to be spelled
you got
wrong.
God raped.
Because if the word is phrasing entirely wrong, why not spell it wrong too?
Oh my God, I guess so.
Oh,
sure.
man.
By that logic, fine, sure.
I just missed my period.
It just is misting
so
all
you're
over.
pregnant? Yeah. No, it's a little dewy. That's all.
It's misting you.
It's foggy down there.
There's a pink cloud following just below my waistline.
That's why I have to wear a skirt.
It makes sense in my funny head.
No, we're making it make sense.
Ish.
Oh, Jesus.
Fish.
Matt, we miss you. We missed you. MIST.
Oh, God damn you. I thought you were being for real. Now you just
missed you.
Yeah, he's just putting period blood on me. You asshole.
Blood coming out of his you know what.
So that's a period error.
Whatever.
That's a period error, yes. And a semen error if you missed your period.
Ooh, yeah.
That's a
But
double.
you're not. You're getting perioded on.
Perioded on.
That's not missing your period.
We're gonna cut all of this, right?
The most I ever talk, you're gonna cut it.
We have to.
No, because this is fun.
We have to cut all of this.
This is just fun. Nobody listens to the end of the show.
No.
Menstruation is become a verb.
Sharks in the water.
You got perioded on.
They got perioded.
That's the name of the show. You got perioded it on.
I didn't add extra D's like that.
Why not? It's funny.
You did. You said perioded.
Period.
I just said
One.
the D's.
Come on, guys. It's simple. What the fuck is wrong with you? I said perioded.
I'm not pulling a Ryan.
I didn't miss my period.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, let's get back to Ann Coulter. That's why we were all talking like fucking dipshits.
We're the intellectuals.
With our horn-rimmed glasses.
Oh, God.
Oh, good times.
Okay. Here we go.
Well,
I guess status matters. As I always say, if the reason status doesn't matter to Christians is we're looking up. If you have nothing to look up to, if you're not getting your standard from God, well, then you have to look around. It's either lateral, or horizontal, or vertical.
What? It's either lateral or horizontal or vertical.
So she's saying they look in one direction. Atheists look all around 360.
Yeah, and not only that, but
wouldn't vertical be looking up and lateral would be looking horizontally
sideways,
anyway?
yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
true.
But I mean, also in that is implicit that no Christians hoard wealth. Hello, like that's where all the money is.
Yeah, look at all their castles.
Creflo Dollar.
Mm-hmm. And his G20 or whatever it was.
Look at the Catholics and the Mormons.
Mm-hmm.
Billions. Scientology. Billions.
You're looking around, and it matters to you the opinion of other people.
That's a particularly great point.
That's a terrible
I think
point.
that, listen, when I did meet Donald Trump last week, the first thing out of my mouth was,
holy shit,
his dick.
Oh, that was priceless.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I want you to know I was born in Queens.
Oh, that's great. I bet he loves that.
Yeah, I think so. He said, what part? And the thing is that I do think, because I was raised in a working class family, that on some level I can appreciate him, the good in him, in a way that people who went to Trinity College in Hartford, like George Will, I mean, if you're part of that hyper preppy ilk, or if you've only wanted to be part of that club, it is embarrassing to ally yourself with somebody like Donald Trump, who brags about the gold fixtures everywhere. So I really think that's a big piece of it. And so I do think that a lot of the unwashed bourgeoisie, the deplorables, are going to vote for Trump. But right now the media is pushing so hard in the other direction that I'm actually wondering for the first time whether it's possible for Trump to win this election. And if he doesn't win the election, I think it's a sign that we are done as a country. So
we are done as a country.
Was he saying people want to vote for Donald Trump because they want to have gold fixtures in their houses too, like Donald Trump? They've always wished for that.
I think his basic argument was people are voting for Donald Trump because they're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That's what their argument boiled down to.
Yeah.
That wasn't making sense
The
to
Republican intellectuals won't vote for Donald Trump. It's all the stupid people voting for Donald Trump.
Of course George Will wouldn't. He went to Harvard.
It's all the racist hillbillies.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry for hillbillies out there, because I really like the liberal redneck.
I feel like hillbilly should be like
awesome.
a Hillary, Bill Clinton kind of thing.
The hillbillies. And they're from Arkansas.
Yeah.
The hillbilly Clintons. Nice.
That has to have been done before, right?
Right?
I would imagine so. I can't imagine the people wouldn't have done it.
Although, as a couple, they're very not redneck.
No.
Well, not very much anyway.
Well, I don't know. Some of those early photos of Bill with that beard he had and his hair.
Yeah. Well, they were kind of hippies.
If you have questions, comments, concerns, compliments, corrections, or concepts for content, contact the show via email at godlessrevolution@gmail.com, by text or voicemail at 330-81-REBEL, or Twitter the twatter at TGI Podcast. Thanks, bitches.
I must say that I do appreciate the excellent sound quality of Eric Metaxas's sound clips on here anyway.
Why do all these people that have like a bunch of money to make these shows have the shittiest fucking audio quality?
Every time, well, I mean, I think Right Wing Watch is particularly bad, but like all of these assholes that like conservative talk radio and stuff, their gain is like at 900
or max, yeah.
Or is it how they downloaded and processed it if they got compressed all the shit?
Well, you can't blame them. There aren't none of those Republican intellectuals. They just fucking put it up there. Jesus.
Well, at the end of all of this, apparently Metaxas goes on to wonder whether or not Hillary Clinton was wearing an earpiece and possibly on heroin during the debate.
Oh my gosh.
I've heard that.
Oh man, that's
at that rate,
an interesting jump.
Yeah.
You could accuse anybody of anything if you're just doing that.
Well, and this is a pretty quick. It's only a minute 15 where he's talking about that.
I have a question. Have you seen, because Chris Himes and I are always trying to figure out, are these things crazy conspiracies or good conspiracies?
No.
But did you see?
No, a conspiracy by definition is generally crazy.
Yeah.
No.
I
disagree wholeheartedly.
Okay.
By definition?
Yeah,
well,
by definition, no.
Not by
conspiracy
definition.
by definition is legit.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about Alex Jones and his...
That's what I was going for. I misspoke.
Or like,
you are correct.
The people who say we didn't land on the moon. And
See that, Chris?
the
See that,
government
Chris?
shot
He
missiles into planes.
misspoke, and I was right. I'm coming on your show again. We're gonna have a fight.
The picture of her with like either it's a battery pack or something leading to something in her ear. I mean, is it possible that during the debate she had people feeding her stuff and that nobody's going after this? It's one of the.
Of course, it's possible.
Yeah, this is the ancient aliens line of questioning.
Yeah.
Is it possible?
Is it possible
Well, I mean, I
that these
suppose,
things
but-
would happen?
Aren't they supposed to have earpieces when they have a mic and
Yeah.
so they can
Also battery pack for audio video. Isn't that something that they put on there?
A lot of times the battery pack is a lot of time for the lapel mic that they're wearing for a different audio source.
Right, but that
for the lavalier.
But still, when you're on TV, you have that stuff.
Yeah.
That's not like out of the ordinary.
No.
Yeah, but so I've heard this particular conspiracy theory before that she had something in her ear, and it was Alex Jones who initially promoted it on his show. Surprise!
Yeah.
But they took one particular shot of her where her earring has a particular glint and it looks like there could be something in her ear. But then if you look at all of the other photos and the actual video of it, it's clear. I mean, she turns to where you can see in her ear and there's nothing
there.
fucking there.
Yeah.
They cherry picked one particular photo that made it look a little weird and they're like, oh, she got something in her ear and it took it there.
Maybe one of her reptile scales was showing.
Yeah, that's the video where someone plays it in slow-mo and she turns her head and there's cameras looking at her with lights on them. And one of the cameras shines in her eye like, look what her eye did. She's Satan. It's like, dude, you're fucking high.
You crazy.
Those things that
I've seen it, and I don't know, it looks like there's something there, but I don't particularly believe it. I mean, the one thing she's good at, she is Tracy Flick in the election. She has all of her little facts and figures and deflections
What a
and
horrible
talking
thing to
points,
have,
and I
facts.
think
Yeah, she's got her facts and figures, not the feelings that the rest of us non-intellectuals run on.
Yeah, how dare you use facts?
she could have reeled off talking points for another hour. She looked shockingly, surprisingly healthy.
Right.
I do think I think any commonsensical person thinks there is something going on with her health. She had a lot of pep pills before that debate. So whatever that pack was, it could have had something to do with her health. I don't particularly believe she needed having answers read to her.
I think it was pure urban horse.
What?
Pure what?
Pure urban horse. It's a street term for heroin.
Oh.
Why does he know that and think she would know that?
I've never heard that before.
You've never heard of heroin being called horse?
Not pure urban horse.
Huh.
I never heard that. No,
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think I've ever heard of heroin being called horse before either.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I've heard that term before.
Also,
is it an old-timey term?
I think it is. Woohoo gold.
If she was on heroin, she'd be fucking asleep.
Sleep, not peppy.
No.
Well, that's what that pack was back there. It was intravenously feeding her pep pills.
Well, and if Metaxas had been an intellectual, he would know that.
Yeah.
Right. Instead, he just doesn't even know how to say heroin, so he calls it horse.
Yeah. I guess I'm not intellectual. I don't know street slang for heroin.
It's some H word. Horse. Horse it is. Horse.
No, I think that's about it.
Yeah, it's fucking hot in here.
Yeah. It's getting warm. It's
because you guys are so ragey.
I was going to say, it's all the rage that was building inside me.
And laughter.
Wait, are you rage misting me?
Oh, God.
You got perioded on.
Oh, that's Jesus' superpower. He could do it with his hands.
Yes.
Just period you with his hands.
With his holes.
Yeah.
They look like little periods, right? If you were to slap
Wait, they're
them onto
semicolons.
Oh my God,
Ooh,
he started Target.
But they allow...
It's just a big Jesus high five.
It's Jesus' store. Nobody even knew until now. You heard it here first, folks.
He just spray paints red paint right over his hand.
But they allowed people to use whatever bathroom they identify.
Proving once again the Christians are wrong.
Yeah, Jesus would let anybody use a bathroom. He was all for peeing. I heard he was in some kinky German porn with pee all over that shit.
Wait, that's R. Kelly.
Yeah.
I thought Germans were the ones that
Black Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh.
R. Kelly's in the German porn as well.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Well, thanks for coming over, everybody.
You're welcome.
Great to have you back on the show this evening, Matt. Great to have you on the show again, Meg. Thank you very much.
Well, it wasn't great to have me on the show?
Great to have you on the show as well, Ryan.
Don't feel left out.
Thank you.
It's hard to miss you if you never go away.
Well, fine. I won't be here for 8 weeks.
No. No, I
was only gone for like a month, man.
This has been awesome. I've had a very good time this evening.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you all out there in the listening parts
are still listening.
The thing.
Doubtful.
Have enjoyed yourselves as much as I have enjoyed myself.
They were like, "Oh fuck, Matt's back." Turned it off right at the beginning.
Or Ryan's saying some fucked up shit again. I don't know what he's talking about.
Like, it was so good when Jeff and Chris and Grant were on.
Yeah, we got some good reviews while you were gone.
I know.
Not a lot of positive feedback.
Not at all surprised. They did do a great job. It's true. Very good job.
But you'll be here again next week.
I believe I will. Yes.
That's a very committed answer.
Thank you.
I believe I will. Yes.
It's a sometimes answer.
Okay.
No, that's an honest answer.
Yeah.
I believe I will be here next week. Yes.
Okay. Good.
If not,
he's
then
not
I'll let
God.
You know.
He doesn't know the future.
Yeah. Come on, Dan.
Sorry. Well, you can never really know anything anyway. We'll finish it there because
I
don't have anything else to say, and now I have a headache from laughing and from raging and then having a laughing fit, and
it's hot as fuck in here,
and it is really hot in here. So we're gonna go now.
Okay.
Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody.
Bye.
We'll chat at you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I noticed too that like my reading did get better as we went through. Like the first one you pulled from Dan Arrow, which was so freaking long ago. And I sound like Darth Vader. I'm like reading it and I'm like, and I'll read. Yeah. Yeah, it was bad.
Well, and then I had to trim shit out of that too, like when he actually mentions the dude. And
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The dude abides, because you don't really abide a whole lot, so.
That's fair.
So we're okay?
Yeah, I think we're okay.
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 Is that your sound check?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Okay.
Okay.
That was funny.
That was
Sorry.
fun. That was fun.
I had a very
Me
nice
and Ryan
time.
kind of went on our own tangent, but
I was very confused there for a little while.
So was I.
so was I.
Yeah, we all were. Just all
That's why it's funny.
yes-anding the whole time.